jerk! Speed kill!
No, don't do that, Jess. Yes. Caller is in the house.
All right, I would kill him. I like it.
Welcome to the Intermission Kills Podcast, the spooky spin-off of the Intermission, where Craves discuss all things horror. I'm Oscar.
I'm Lewis.
And we don't have Curtis with us today because he's ill.
Yeah, he's not very well.
We were meant to have a third person with us. But
Yeah.
but you know what? It's quite fitting that the very first episode of the Intermission Kills Podcast doesn't start quite as planned.
Yeah, I mean, it's his fault.
It is his fault.
Shouldn't be ill.
Yeah, we'll. He was intimidating me and you for the first time. We'll say that.
Yeah, I remember this.
Hang on. Another thing that's gone wrong. I didn't get the pumpkin going yet. Hang on a minute. There you go. There you go. You can see.
Good start.
Come
on,
I've got it.
Come
I've
on,
got
we
it.
got it.
It's
We
fine.
got
There
it.
you go.
There you go.
There you
There
go.
you go.
So yeah.
He was intimidated.
Allegedly.
I don't find myself intimidated.
Well, neither do I.
Like, I mean, you've known me for years.
This is what I mean, but apparently I'm also intimidating to some people, which I also find very funny. Exactly. I find it very funny. Apparently people get intimidated when I go, "Oi, I need a word." They shit themselves.
I just walk over. What do you fucking want?
What of it?
Just call you something, run away.
You call me a fanny. Don't appreciate that. So yeah, we've the first podcast of the Intermission Kills, and it's been you know what, I've enjoyed this October season. I've had a good time overall. I think as for a Halloween season, it's been a good one. I think overall,
It's been my favourite for a while.
yeah.
Like, genuinely really mint.
And strangely enough, there hasn't been loads out either. Like usually, like if you think about it, we used to like have it like pinpoint in the sense like, we got Halloween 2018, and then Halloween Kills, and we were still having a good time, and then Halloween ends, and then we didn't have as much of a good time.
Halloween ends never happened. We don't talk about it. It ended at Kills.
It ended. I will say though, because this will actually go nicely to what we've been watching / playing / listening. Because I remember Halloween Ends happened. You drove the night of we watched Halloween Ends. You drove us back. We were outside my house in your car, ranting about Ends, and being like, "It's just just what's the point?"
Passionate argument.
Yeah, genuinely, you had to get it off our chest. I remember walking back through my front door in my house. I was sat down on that chair, and I just saw that they were like Silent Hill transmission. I was like, I think I just messaged Instagram, lads, it's back. It's actually back. Silent Hill's back.
I think we were in the car. Because I think
I was here. No, because I remember.
It might have been just when you.
Yeah.
I think I saw you and went, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
And then all
It's
my conspiracy theories were
Your
true.
conspiracy, right?
I was genuinely. I said bloober. I said that was a rumor for ages, and I was right.
Bloober rumor.
A bloober rumor. You lads, I got a bloober rumor.
I got a bloober.
And I was right.
You were in that realm, yes. But yeah, but that and I think that's a big thing because obviously this Halloween season, Silent Hill 2, the remake came out. We won't go too in-depth in it because we want to actually make a video probably talking about it. You finished the game.
I've finished it. I'm going to do a second run once I've finished Ghost of Tsushima.
Yes.
And I'm going to... I won't go into details for people who obviously haven't played it, but I'm going to do a second run with a bit of a different perspective.
Yeah. And I'm still in my first playthrough. I had my last week was very busy, is what I will say. This is why. But as soon as I had the chance, I was like, right, I'm back on it, and I have been getting through it enough nicely.
He was amping it up for weeks. I can't wait.
Angela,
I wasn't even going to potentially get it. I was going to wait a little bit. So I thought, you know what? I'll go and buy it. Then
you got it before me, man, as well.
My couple hours.
Yeah,
well, I
but
ordered
still.
it on the morning. I woke up in the morning and thought, you know what? I'm gonna get it. And then literally 7 o'clock in the morning, went on Argos on my phone. There you go, order. There, gonna go pick it up. And then I just saw your Amazon driver. I was like, I might drop it off.
Still, yeah. So what do you mean?
When he was round the corner.
What do you mean? Give it. They went round the corner and then they went further away. When do you think if I just walked? I won't dox myself. I won't say exactly where I am. But I went like, do you think if I just walk down this street and knock on like the window and go like, EMA, here's my confirmation code. Can I just have?
I reckon that might work.
I mean,
genuinely,
it trims.
You've got a code,
you know what? Yeah, if I genuinely have like the actual receipt and be like,
maybe ID.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's there as well.
Something with your address.
Like, here you go. See, Please.
That's just rummaging right at the back because he's like structured it perfectly.
Yeah, it's like
you've ruined it.
It's like, mate, you're like 6 stops away. It's like, yeah, but you're just round the corner from me, please. You don't understand. It's loud slope too.
I was already in about an hour before you got it.
Yeah, to be fair.
Far.
But I again won't go too much into it right now. But in terms of expressing how I'm feeling, how we're feeling, because again, I think this game warrants a whole video on itself. In all honesty, and we did say we would talk about it. But I would say, at the minute, I'm really liking it. It's really good. It's really good.
I won't go into much detail, and obviously I play games a little bit more than you do. Yeah. I won't go into any sort of hyperbole just yet, but I'll just say I'm very happy about how the remake turned out. Yeah, and I'll go into it. And this is what I'm saying from. I mean, this is what's being said about it. And I'm also not being funny. We told you so. You all said for honestly all the way through. I would say like some of the trailers, it looked a bit iffy, but that's what called development is. And what doesn't help is when the team are getting Konami essentially using. From what I believe I read, they were promoting the game using a build that was a year old.
That's right, yeah.
A year-old build is horrendous in tech. Yeah. That is massive. Yeah. And like, for example, ChatGPT, that's 2 years behind in the tech world. That's why people don't use it in a lot of the tech world. That's massive. So like, if you show them footage as a year old, it's not going to look as great. And even so, I thought, look, great. I just think
never had an issue with it.
Silent Hill passionate diehards are like, you literally just want the original again.
Which I mean, and again, I'm not gonna claim hyperbole with many things, but I honestly think we're going to get to a point from right now, and I go, it's wild for me to say when I haven't finished the game, but even seeing the cutscenes and playing the game as it is now, I think there's going to get to a point where the remake might be more heralded as like. I think what the original has over the remake is that it is the reason why that story exists.
Well, IGN just yesterday...
This is what I was going to mention as well.
Just mentioned they placed it as the best survival horror game.
It's horror, not even survival horror.
Survival just horror.
Just horror game.
It was number one. It beat out Resident Evil 2 Remake, wasn't it?
Resi 4, I think. Oh, no, was it 2?
It was 2 Remake, because 4 was a bit behind, because we were going off horror, and 2's more horror-based anyway. Yeah. And like...
But 4 is in that list. Hang on, I'm going to get up the
4
list.
Is in the list. 4 is in the list. I think it's like maybe 10 or something.
I've also heard apparently like the actual there's other gamers are like being like, oh, it's not even a credible list anyway. But it's like,
it is, to be fair.
But also like,
but like, I say this as I'm trying not to be biased. Like, I went in just to see what happens to remake, whatever. And I always try to do that with anything I play or watch. And yeah, very happy. I'll go into my thoughts in more detail on the actual video.
When we get to it, yeah.
But all I can say is when I stopped playing it, I just wanted to play it again. And it's incredibly like.
What? So the top 10. Oh God, hang on.
I know Resi 2 Remake was 2. I can't remember anything before that. I'm sure Five Nights at Freddy's was on there.
That was in the earlier part of the list.
Which I get the impact, but come on.
It's more of the impactful thing, isn't it? It's not like the actual.
It was everywhere in 2014.
It did get, and even like the film it made bank. I didn't see the film
I saw clips of it, and the animatronics were like, kind of like mates at this point.
Yeah.
I just didn't understand it really.
Where is your boy tonight? It might not matter.
I totally forgot the next line there.
I couldn't think about. I can't load it up.
He is a gentleman.
I know, like the rhythm to it. It doesn't matter.
Well, I know Resi 2.
Resi 2. Alan Wake 2 was in the. I think that was 10.
Yeah, and I'm sure when I read a famous Reddit comment where someone said, "Oh, Alan Wake 2 clearly influenced Silent Hill 2." When you realise this is a remake and it's the other way around.
You absolute dummy.
I remember reading that, and it was on Reddit, and it was on Gaming Reddit, so it wasn't a Silent Hill diehard.
Yeah.
It was like someone genuinely praising Silent Hill 2. Going, oh, it's amazing. It's clearly influenced by Alan Wake 2. I was like, then everyone just jumped on it. It was great.
25. I'll skim through the list. 25 is Stay Out of the House, which I don't know that.
I've heard of it. I can't think why I know it.
24 is Slender, the 8 pages. That's the Five Nights at Freddy's of our generation.
I mean,
I'm not saying this. That's why I'm saying. Remember when it was everywhere? That shit was everywhere, man.
Yeah.
And then it quickly disappeared within memory. That many people mentioned, the Slender game. Oh, and there's a Slender Man game. And oh yeah, there was.
Wasn't much to it. I could probably build it.
There's 23, The Evil Within. I didn't finish that game.
Class game.
I feel like I might pick it back up again.
It was a perfect game for a time. It was Shinji Mikami who
Yeah,
played
yeah,
Resident
yeah.
Evil. It was a perfect game to fill in the gap where Resident Evil hadn't made its
Yeah,
return
yeah.
yet.
Yeah, before Resi 7
yeah.
and all. Yeah.
Silent Hill was kind of, doing its weird thing. And then, for what it was, I remember at the time, I played it about 5 times. I loved it.
Condemned Criminal Origins. I heard about that.
Yeah, class.
Manhunt.
Manhunt got banned. I never
That's
actually
right.
played it,
Yes. Yeah.
I never played it, but I think it was more down to violence. I don't know how horror actually is, to be honest with you.
Inside. I've heard good things about
Inside's
Inside. I've heard good things.
Yeah, Inside's really good.
19 is Visage. Don't know about that one.
I've heard of that. Don't know why I know it. I think that might be like a PT thing.
It looks like it.
Yeah.
18 Phasmophobia. Don't know.
I've not played it, but I know of it. Yeah.
17 is Dead by Daylight. This is when I've heard people go like any horror list that has Dead by Daylight on it is an irrelevant list.
Because it's a good
I know
game.
nothing about Dead by Daylight.
It's a good game. It's basically like Friday 13th, the game style thing, but it was like made. I think it was made before it.
Right.
And it's like you play the survivors, and then there's one killer. It originally had original killers, and then survivors original, and then it just did the Sims thing where DLC was the game.
Right, okay,
one.
yeah,
And
yeah.
Had I think Halloween was one of the first ones.
Yeah.
Michael Myers' model looks really weird in that game.
Okay.
He looks buff. Like buff in a way that
Yeah.
doesn't look right. He's got like hinge neck or something like that.
Don't like that.
Doesn't look right.
Don't like
And
that.
there's like Texas Chair. Silent Hill was in it as well. Like just cool. But
Hang on. I need to plug the camera in.
you're not doing well today.
I'm
I was just told to turn up, and I did that.
There you go.
Turned up. I'm ready to go. Ready to talk.
16's Until Dawn.
Yeah.
I love it. It's one of my favorite horror games, but again, I wouldn't
put it
that high.
Nah.
No,
I love it,
but it's fun. Yeah, it's a little fun, goofy game.
I prefer the Quarry.
Oh,
Genuinely, because I prefer the werewolf.
Oh, you know what? I remember when I did first play the Quarry, I was like, I think I like. Do you know what? I think the Quarry has a better storyline, but Until Dawn has better characters.
No, I prefer the characters and I prefer the setting. I like the summer sort of like
the summer
setting.
summer camp. Yeah. No,
Very classic, and I like it.
I do think they're two halves of the same coin, though. I do think it's just. Oh, which one do you want? Which one do you fancy?
I just find the characters funnier, and I just.
No, that's fair.
Got Frat Boy.
Frat Boy Jacob, yeah.
Frat Boy Jacob.
Love him. Alan Wake 2 is number 15, which
So
I've
you
heard
play it?
from. Yeah, it's same.
I think already just come out.
It's coming out. I think. Do you know what? I think from what I know of, I think by the time this podcast is out, I think it comes out the same day. I think it is the 26th.
Are you?
I'm playing.
Finished the first one after I borrowed
After-
it a year ago.
It's right there.
Yeah.
After
Have you woke up Alan yet?
after I silence the hills, I'm gonna wake up Alan,
Class game.
and then I'll play Alan Wake 2. That's my now. You know what? Now that Silent Hill 2 genuinely has kind of got me back, like, because again for the while I'm like, just give me like the little story games because it's easier. I can get through them. You know what?
That in Alan Wake's quite hard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it is. It is. That's why I rage quit, and I just haven't picked it up since. But I know where I fault it. It's my fault. It's not the game's fault. It's me. I know I'm the
Not the
issue.
problem.
And I'm aware of that. I'm the issue here.
Sorry, Remedy. It's his fault. Is it Remedy who developed it? I think it's Remedy.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I'm loving the game. I love the vibes. I love it all. If I'm being honest with you, but it's just the fact but Alan Wake 2 that made 15, and I've heard nothing but amazing things about that.
Must be. I think it definitely got nominated Game of the Year.
It
but
did. It didn't win.
Didn't win.
No.
I think Zelda might have won. It was Zelda.
My done.
Tears of the Kingdom that year, wasn't it?
No, it was Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh, Baldur's Gate
That
3,
was
which
it, yeah.
my brother keeps telling me to play constantly.
I've heard it's amazing.
It is amazing, but I don't.
But also,
have,
I'm not-
like,
but al-
3 lifetimes to play it.
But I'm also not like I'm not like a D&D Warcrafty kind of guy, which also feels like that's what it is.
That's
more.
what my brother is into. So
Yeah.
like, it's all up his street.
It's not my cup of tea. Number 14 is Soma.
Soma's mint.
Mm.
Probably one of the most. I'm not going to spoil it, but it's one of the most well done endings in a game ender.
Okay.
Ever, and it just makes you feel just hollow.
Okay, what's it on? Could I play it? Am I
Yeah,
able to
it
play it?
might be on Switch, you know.
Oh, okay.
Because Amnesia's on Switch.
I might investigate it. 13 is Clock Tower. I've heard nothing but good things about Clock Tower.
That was good. It's a bit goofy, but it's good.
Yeah. Very inspired by Jarlow, right? Well, Phenomena. It's like Dario Argento and stuff like that.
Scissor Man.
Yes. Yeah.
Massive scissors.
12 is Forbidden Siren 2.
You know what? I love the Siren.
That's Masahiro Ito, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure because wasn't it like kind of like
It's
spiritual, like Team Silent people or something?
But it takes place in Japan, which might be Silent Hilf. Silent Hilf might be doing more. Sorry.
I heard something about that today.
What, Hilf?
Yeah.
What did you hear about Hilf?
Basically, do you know the trailer that came out when it was announced?
Yeah.
That was made by a outside CGI developer, whatever company, and
which I can imagine
was done with very little consultant with the actual team who were developing Silent Hill.
Interesting.
So it's just based off what they told them, and so there's
a strong chance that
that's
what
not
we
actually
saw
accurate to what it is. I reckon no, because it just shows the setting.
Yeah,
so it just shows the setting. It might just be that's the setting. That's it.
Yeah, like 60s Japan.
Yeah, so it might be fine because I saw people going, oh no, not again, and like think about this, and I'm like, actually, it's literally just showing the setting.
Yeah.
So.
Which is all I kind of...
Whatever. They don't give anything else away.
Yeah.
And
there's nothing really much in it, yeah.
It's now called Silent Hill J.
Oh, Silent Hill J. Hilge.
Hilge.
We got 11 is Resident Evil, the original, 1996.
Yeah.
It's what?
I'll put the remake there, but if you've ever tried to go back and play the original Resident Evil, it's painful.
This is batshit insane. Number 10's Five Nights at Freddy's.
I would honestly put Resident Evil above that.
Yeah.
The original PS1, there's more mechanics in a PS1 game.
But even in terms of like impact,
oh yeah,
like
famously Resident Evil stole off what was it called? It was called Haunted House or something like that. Some original game. They basically just nicked the idea and made it mid. But the impact Resident Evil it's still going today. Like
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Number 9 is Resi 4, the remake.
Unbelievable. It is an amazing remake, but when you talk about horror, it's the remake is more horror influenced than the original. It's more of an action game. Have you got it?
No.
Is that remake?
I don't have 4.
Yeah.
I don't have.
I've got 4.
I did have 4.
I've got 4 on PS4 remastered. I used to have it on GameCube.
Number 8 is Left 4 Dead 2. That's a flash of the pan thing from my memory. That is. That's
I played it.
I remember hearing that it was amazing.
I played loads of it. There's not much to it
at the time.
It's mint. Like multiplayer, I played the hell out of it. Loved it.
7's Outlast.
Outlast is one of the games that got me back into gaming.
Oh really?
I fell out of it during the PS3. I was playing like just kind of a bit of Call of Duty and random stuff because story games kind of took a back seat for like your shooters and your online stuff.
Yeah, they did.
Generation. And then
you get the odd few like the Uncharted's and Red Dead.
There's more PlayStation.
Really.
And
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, your Assassin's Creed and stuff. And with that, like I went to university when I did my music degree, and I just kind of was getting a bit just to occupy my time. Got into games, got 3DS, and then I got PS4. I hadn't had a PlayStation since the PS2 because I had a 360, and because I really want to get back into PlayStation. I got a couple of games and stuff, and Outlast was one the PlayStation Plus free games that when it first came out.
Yeah.
And I played it. It was kind of my first like horror I played in years. It was scary at the time, but I feel like it's a little hard to go back to now.
From my memory, I remember hearing that, like, because again, I wasn't necessarily playing loads of games, but I was watching loads of Let's Plays at this point, and I think, like, from my memory, Outlast was the first, like, horror game where you didn't have any weapons.
Yeah.
At least for the longest time. So
you had to hide.
Which I think a lot of people then just took that and then just did that. And it's like, this isn't fun.
Did it, like, Outlast 2 did it amazingly well.
Is that the one where Outlast is the one where you can look through the camcorder, but you've only got, like, for night vision, but you've only got so much battery life.
Yeah, 2's the same as well,
yeah.
It's just one's, like, setting us, but, like, one's really impactful for what that was. It just got oversaturated. 2, though, genuinely was one of those games. It's quite, like, it's up there, which I'll say in the Silent Hill 2 remake discussion. One of those games where I'm really hard to scary games. I'll just power through them. There's some bits in Outlast 2 and Silent Hill 2 remake where I was legitimately like, I've had to take a pause because this is quite intense.
Number 6 is Alien Isolation.
Bella.
We'll end up talking more about
Bella.
something newsworthy.
Bella.
Yeah. I couldn't get into it.
Loved it.
Couldn't get into it.
Play that you.
But again, it's a me issue. it is a me
to be
issue.
fair, like it's. I think it's IGN got a lot of heat for their review of it. Their review was like the AI of the alien was too smart. And
All right.
it, like the way it is developed is really like incredibly. It behaves like an animal, like it should.
Yeah.
And what it does, it makes the game hard. And IGN
Yeah,
were
yeah.
like, "Oh, it's a bit too hard. Oh, the alien's too smart. I don't want a dumb alien.
Yeah, exactly.
I can just like slap its tail and do a runner." You know what I mean? Loved it.
Number 5 is the Dead Space remake.
Class. I played Dead Space the original years ago. Couldn't really remember much of it, and I got to even played it. I played it in like was it January of this year or February?
January.
Yeah, I think it was. Like
That's when it came out. But you
yeah,
might
I
have
got it
been-
around. I got it around there, and I was really ill at the time, and I was just like trying. I was managing a lot of like masters assignments, so I was trying to code and play, and then I was ill as out, and then that game was getting me through, but it was just like, it's literally The Thing, but in space.
Yeah.
It's class.
The Thing again, another film that I'm not quite into. I need to give it another go. That one.
No, I love The Thing.
There's a few there.
Love The Thing.
Fuck! Did it just randomly? Hang on.
GTA 5.
No, that's an interesting inclusion. The horror.
Horrific in how long it's lasted. Just won't die.
Number 4 is PT.
Yeah, God rest his soul.
Will always hold a special place in my heart.
They did be one of the scariest things I've ever played.
It might
Probably the scariest.
It
thing I've
might
ever
be
played.
the scariest thing ever, which reminds me we need to organise a PT party where Connor can come because Connor never even heard of it until I told him about
I
it.
remember you saying,
So we need to get Connor to play the game,
Yeah.
and we can all have a
It's
fun
an
time watching him.
experience. It's awesome.
It's amazing,
So good.
and it's still on my PS4 right there.
You could honestly sell your PS4 for
I
a lot of money.
I could, but I don't want because I want the game. I don't want.
You know what? We've kind of got Silent Hill's like building us a little bit of a fortune here.
Yeah.
I've got Silent Hill 1.
Yeah.
We got the demo disc for Silent Hill 1.
One.
We've both got 2.
Yeah,
I've got
we've both got
3.
2. Yeah.
You got 3.
I don't own 3 yet.
Yeah, I've got 3. And then
We-
when
I
I've
need-
looked
we
at
need
the
to get
prices,
4.
I looked the other day and Silent Hill
4.
1, I got it for. I need to get 4.
Yeah, I need
but,
to get 4.
But when I looked at 1. When I got 1, in 2020, it was like 50 quid on this site called Chill Out Games, which I use to get PS1 games. But I went, oh, mint, that's a really good price for that, actually,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
PS1 of Silent Hill. Like, mint condition and stuff like that. Played it on PS1 at home and stuff the way you should play it, really. 'cause
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
class. But, and then I remember telling you, I just stumbled on, like, the internet and it was like,
It was over. It was during lockdown.
120 quid it's worth. I was like, right, well. And then Silent Hill 2 was like
Yeah.
80 quid. going
Yeah.
up. God knows what that's worth. So
Yeah, no.
if we're ever in dire straits, we know what
Silent
to
Hill,
do. We know what to do.
this. The demo disc of
That'll be worth something.
It must be something. It was just under Gary's bed. He was like, "Do you want it?" I was like, "Yes."
He's probably got like 10 gold bars and like,
We don't know.
don't know.
Maybe he's got 4 just under
Yeah,
his
he
bed.
just like rat sealed everything.
Oh, mate. But yeah, number 3, Amnesia: The Dark Descent. That's a game I remember hearing loads about. I was like,
You know what, when you said about the can't do anything, like you can't have.
Yeah.
That's the one that
Amnesia
started
did,
it.
right, yeah.
Amnesia was before Outlast.
Yes.
But I think they're probably in development around the same time, probably.
Amnesia was like the first game that I remember when
Brilliant, really good.
when
game.
like Let's Players were doing like scariest game ever, and it was like I remember it must have been like early, when did it come out? 2010. I remember in like round about 2010, 2011, where like everywhere it was like that game was getting played, and you
I
just
used to
saw
watch
the Let's
playthroughs
Plays
of it all the time,
like
yeah.
PewDiePie. That's
Yeah.
when he got like
What was really cool about it is like it had, I don't know the full degree of it because it's been a while since I played it. It had like a creator system so people could make their own scenarios and use the monsters and the assets and stuff like that and go and create their own custom thing. And it was like a custom story.
yeah.
And like at the time I was like, oh, that's really cool. But like now I think about it, that's mental.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's a custom story where you make your notes stuff like in the game itself. Like I don't have the patience to do that sort of thing, but like, yeah, you can't put down Amnesia at all.
Number 2 is the Resident Evil 2 remake.
Mint.
So, yeah.
Mint.
Which
yeah.
is the game that, because I've yet to actually get into Resident Evil gaming, and I've said to you,
You'll
it's like
love Resident
I might get
Evil.
into them, and I said because I mentioned it to Reese as well, because Reese is also once again saying you need to get into these games, and I said that you mentioned to me that I should start with Resi 2, and then Reese went, yeah, probably that's the best place to start for like the lore side, but Resi 7's the best one to start for a solid horror game.
Yeah, I agree with that.
but,
Resi 7's the most
I've
horror.
watched Resi 7 get played, but I didn't play.
It's a class game. Resi 7's not my favorite. It's probably the most horrific.
Yeah.
But I've always
Texas Chainsaw looking ass.
Yeah, it's class. But I've always slightly. I love the Ethan Winters games, them two games,
And Village.
And Village. I love them games.
Are they separate from everything else? Really?
Oh, no, they're in the timeline.
Yeah,
Like,
but
Chris Redfield's in it. It's just its
Okay,
own
right.
little like. Oh, these is Ethan's. I think they call it the storyline of the father or something like
Right.
that.
But he's not like a.
He's not a classic character or anything.
No, but he's also not like. I don't know. He's not. Because like Leon and all that, and everybody, it's like SWAT team, military type people.
Yeah,
or whatever.
it's always something like that. Like
whereas Ethan isn't that. He's just a dude, isn't he?
he's just a guy.
Yeah.
Guy who just gets wrapped up in all that crap. And,
Which makes things like that a bit more interesting.
I just don't really like the whole mold thing that's they're doing
right.
it. But I'm more classic Resi. I like the zombies. And
Yeah.
and the G virus of 2. I love 2.
And yeah, number 1 Silent Hill 2, the current remake. Which again, at the minute, I'm really liking it. So I can't wait to continue playing it
Just
and finish it.
I know we're going to go on a full discussion, but I'm just going to say I fully agree with that being number one. And that's coming from someone who adores Resi 2 remake.
Yeah.
Like, and the original Resi 2.
Yeah,
Silent
man.
Hill 2 has done things in a horror remake that I've not seen since the Silent Hill game, the original Silent Hill games.
Yeah, again, I'm not going to say too much because I just want to almost save it for it. But it's so far doing everything that I've always wanted.
It's doing more than
It's doing
genuinely.
yeah.
Like, I couldn't get over how good it was.
I'll
go into it a bit more.
I did. There was the reason why I was so slow playing the game for a good time. It took me so long to even get to like the apartments because I was just walking. I was just like looking. I was like, this is amazing. I was just like looking around. I wasn't even running for the longest time because I was like, I just want to like live in this for a little bit.
Yeah, it's amazing what visually atmosphere. It's the first team outside of Team Silent to actually get the atmosphere right. For
PT's
Silent Hill.
different, I guess, but like
PT's got a different atmosphere.
Yeah.
But it's very Silent Hill in its own original idea.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
mental.
Oh, yeah. Which, I mean, I don't know. This is why I'm excited for Silent Hill. No matter what it is, I just want a new Silent Hill game.
Yeah.
If Bloober are gonna whether they remake an older one or they make a new one, I'd rather they kind of make a new one just to see. But also, I can understand if they want to like remake.
They've said
another one.
they'll be happy to remake it, but they do also want to try an original one.
Which I'd rather, which I'm a little bit more skeptical about, simply because their narratives haven't,
They're not the
like,
strongest point.
independently, they haven't been great, and they had a base to work off with this one, so they didn't. So
I would love to see them do. I know they'll probably 3 would be amazing to see remade, but one needs it.
One does need it.
But that why would you say fuck it, do 4?
That's what I said to you.
Yeah.
I said this to you. I went, I get doing 1, I get doing 3, but also 4.
I was watching the video because I was like, I played 4 a while ago and I know the story, but I kind of watched a breakdown of the story because I forgot quite a lot of
I
it.
feel like there's a lot of
It's
room.
mental.
I feel like there's a lot of room for improvement with 4. Like,
Gameplay wise, I would
yeah,
say
yeah.
gameplay, but the story in itself
Pretty
is
solid, man.
is pretty much solid.
Solid.
Like you can't. There's probably bits and pieces you can tear apart with Henry himself as a character, but
Henry Townsend.
our little Henry trapped in his room with all his locks.
Yeah.
Imagine he just realised he just dropped his keys behind the couch. Oh yeah, for all my 10 locks.
But apart from playing Silent Hill 2 and looking at all the survival horror game and stuff, have you been watching? Oh no, we've been watching the Scream films. We've been doing that this.
We've just finished 4 last weekend. We're going to be wrapping up with 5 and 6
which
Sunday.
Yes, Sunday. Yeah. So yeah, they're a good time, man.
I mean, it's been class because I seen them a while ago. Like, good for you. I love them, but like, it's been a good long while since I've seen. Obviously, the recent ones were the ones I've seen the most recent.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, Victoria hadn't seen them. Who's scared of most horrors. So
That's one of my genuine. And the reason why I brought up Scream, and because I was trying to think about something, what could be like a good thing for all of us to watch together. Because because she doesn't like anything horror. I'm like
full on horror.
But then you've said to me, it's like, well, she's watched Stranger Things,
which is horror.
and she's also played Until Dawn. I'm like,
Horror.
so there's stuff. So that's why I said to you, Owen, Scream might be a good shout actually, because Scream's actually kind of like.
Scream's in the middle.
And we played The Quarry as well before we watched Scream, and she enjoyed that fine, from my understanding. And we also shoved in. We'll get to this after we talk about Scream, but we also shoved in watching later Friday 13th with her. which we did last.
You were going through them, weren't you?
Yeah. It wasn't
I
this.
had already seen them.
It wasn't this month. It was last month. It was September because there was a Friday 13th in that September. So
that's when we watched
New Blood and Jason Takes One Hand.
All I'll say is, I remember when you said you were watching it, I said, you were watching through them, I said, right, before you, when you get to New Blood, wait for me.
Well,
I need to watch that with
you. Do you know
you.
what it is? You went like, can we watch this? I went, I still need to watch like 4 and you went, and then you went, can you just catch up to New Blood?
Yeah, please.
You specifically wanted
no reason
you
why.
specifically wanted to watch New Blood with me. I went, all right, sure. So then I like binged like the 3 others I needed to watch. Yeah. But Scream, and then I thought, all right, Scream. She might have fun with Scream. Like from instantly shitting herself, just scream. You know what?
I've never seen her like that before. Genuinely, I've seen her watch her go, oh, I don't like this bit or whatever. Like, watch Stranger Things. Screaming the house down. Next door neighbours probably thought something was going on. I genuinely thought I was going to get a knock on the door. I was like, is everything all right in here?
It's one of my favourite movie viewing experiences I've ever had for the simple fact of like this is a class film and it's and you're actually and you know like if you watch like a horror film or whatever and you or like you're watching a film where someone's watching a horror film and you're going, all right, that's a bit overreacting.
Yeah,
it was like
that was it was when like in 2 when they're in the recording studio and then she's like in the other door.
Ghostface didn't even disappear.
He does the she's going like that, and then he moves to the window. You can see him. It's
like,
he's still there. You know he's there.
It's the bit where they're climbing over the car as well, like where she's getting in 2, where Sydney's getting out the car, and again,
he's gotta wake up.
But then there's a bit where she just pauses for a bit,
yeah,
and then screams again. It's like nothing else has happened.
There's no
good time. It was great. It's been great.
That's my life.
But one's great. What rewatching them again, I'm like, it's one thing I realized, like watching them again this time, I'm like, one is just class. One might be top 10 horror for me. Like that might be like genuinely like really
I spoke
high
to
up
my
there
dad
for me.
about it, and he loves the first one. He thinks it's brilliant.
It's amazing.
I love my dad's like when I was telling them about Victoria screaming, I was like, what do you mean? He's all running about, falling all over the place and stuff like that, crashing into stuff. And I was like, he is, isn't he?
It's a good one because it's films that like if you're like Victoria, where you can scream and be scared, but they're not going to fuck you up. Like she's not shook up by them. Now if we put on the Terrifier films, on the other hand, I feel like
didn't we say, I don't know if it was after the first 2 or something like that, he said, well, when I was dropping news off, I was going to phone her and say hello, Victoria.
That was it, yeah.
Freak like put no caller ID.
Well, that's why, and that's why she went, no, don't. Right, I'm coming with you.
Yeah, she came. Yeah, forgot about that. Yeah, you say that. It didn't mess her up. She had to come out with us.
She couldn't stay in the house by herself.
Oh God, bless her.
Yeah, but what? Oh yeah, we had the Terrifier, the Terrifier, Terrifier 3.
You've seen it, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good. I did a little review on the Instagram. I want to do a whole video on it as well.
Do you know on your letterbox with Terrifier 3?
Yeah.
I think you reviewed the wrong thing.
No. I also logged the Ice 9 Kills music video.
I saw that, but it didn't come up with 3 either.
I did log 3.
So I was like, does he? I was going to message her and say, does he know you reviewed the right thing?
No, I did log. Hang on,
I thought you accidentally reviewed the wrong one.
No, I did log the.
I meant to say it, yeah.
Yeah, Terrifier 3.
Oh, fair enough.
I also did that, but I watched the Ice 9 Kills music
Must have
video.
just been on the display of mine. It only brought up one then.
Yeah.
I was really confused. I was like, has he done the wrong thing? I was like,
no, I did that. 3's great. Yeah. I want to. There's nothing deeper behind it. There's nothing deeper behind the film.
I'm gonna watch it. Like for these Terrifier, I can take a lot of gore, but I do kind of to a certain point where I do have to kind of like I can't sit through the entire thing without going God. But like, and then so I watched 1 and 2 on. I think it was on Prime or something. I think it was on Prime and they were both on. 2 was on Prime for definite.
1 is deprived, man. One is just absolute.
Like, I really enjoyed them, but I just feel like I have to sometimes have to go stop for a bit. So like I wouldn't go probably see 3 in the cinema.
Weirdly enough, 3 is the easiest watch.
Really?
I
went to piping up that it was going to be like it was nearly banned or something like that.
Yeah, but
I mean, if the second one was allowed with is it the daughter who gets
the bedroom kill. It's even like the kill where what's her name Brooke with that cat, which gets her chest caved in. That's fucking gnarly.
See, deaths like that where it's like someone gets a chest cave, it's like, it just makes me laugh.
No, but
it's
it's
so obtuse the strength. It's just so.
No, but it's literally like you just see like a fucking like 2x4 cave her chest, and he rips her fucking ribs open, then takes her heart out, and takes a little bite out of it.
Is it one where she gets ripped in half?
Yeah.
On the top end.
Yeah.
I think that's the most like, oh god.
Yeah.
That's the-
Well, it's when you're in. They're also in a dingy warehouse as well, so this just feels a bit. Whereas like 3, you know, it's a Christmas film.
Yeah, at least clean the surfaces, everyone.
3's a Christmas film. It's a jolly time.
Yeah. I hope they do because
The opening seems like.
I watched. I saw something. I meant to send it to you. I might be getting this wrong. Which it sounds exaggerated, but I think it's right because we were talking about this the other day. Terrifier 3 has made 14 times its budget, or something like that. Something ridiculous, but it has a smaller budget.
It's in the news bit.
Oh,
But
nice.
we'll talk about. But yeah,
I hope it keeps going up until Christmas. Just keep it out.
I think they'll at least re-release it.
Yeah.
I hope they fucking keep it out because if I am going to review it this December, I want to rewatch it again.
I mean, it happened. I know it's like a totally different budget and scale, but Deadpool and Wolverine, I think, only just stopped being in the cinema.
Yeah.
Only just, but that was making tons, wasn't
I
it?
think, I mean, I hope they keep it at least till Christmas. Not even till Christmas, just mid-December,
November,
mid-December at least. I don't know.
I was surprised. I get why they've done October, but like,
it's worked out fine because again, it's all the little horror fiends want to go watch a horror film and
sickos.
All the sickos. I am a sicko. I am a self-confessed sicko. Smile 2 came out, and I may not be like Johnny with it. That was anticipating that
we're gigging tomorrow. I'm going to ask him.
I'm gonna,
I'm going to ask him flat out. Like, and he understand this because he keeps putting on Instagram like Smile 2. I'm going to go back to back. Incredible and stuff. I'm like. He's into a lot of stuff, but I was like,
it's
interesting.
All the Smile. The first one's fine. Second one is actually genuinely good.
The first one's okay. For me, it had some cool kills in it. That was it.
The ending was class.
Yeah, the ending's class.
Yeah. But with the second one, there's a bit more to it. There's a bit more.
It does seem like I saw your review of it, and I was like going, all right. I just kind of rewatched the trailer to kind of get. I was going, you know what? It has got a bit of like it's batting. It's really batting for it, like a little bit with the. It's got a bit more budget behind it. It's got some cool actors in it and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, it seems I might give it a go.
Opening's class. Opening is generally class. I won't spoil why it's class, but I'll just leave it at that. It's class.
I kept mixing up that film with Trap for a few times.
Trap.
Yeah. I was going, is that the one with the Osman? I kept mixing it up all the time. There's too many concert films like in horror. For a living.
It's weird that we've had 2 of them.
Yeah,
we've had 2. Yeah, no, but it's good. What's interesting? What I found out, the first Smile was apparently going to be like just shoved to streaming, and then I think producer and directors the director was kind of like, go on, get it. And I think it eventually did go a theatrical release,
kind of slumped out sort of thing.
And then it did really well at the box office, so that's why the second one got made. So this is why I think you shouldn't rule out theatrical runs because I think. They're very important to the genre and just film in general.
Did it get inspired off a short film? Because I know Lights Out was
yeah.
But I feel like Smile was in that sort of.
Maybe that sounds right.
I feel like there was a couple that did.
That sounds right.
Because of Lights Out was one of those. Wasn't
yeah.
It?
I don't know. Lights Out's fun.
Yeah, Lights Out's a good time.
David Sandberg, he's doing the Until Dawn film. That I am interested in. I'm curious.
The other day. I think it's in June or something next year.
Which feels like an odd release date.
Because it's not. It was a Quarry. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I might bring my PS5 controller with me for a laugh, and then just start going.
Hold still. We didn't play the Until Dawn remake. That's also another thing we did. I didn't see the need. I didn't see the need to play it again.
It's like it does look better.
Not even to play again.
It looks better. You no one can deny that. But I just
but even the
issues. There's nothing different besides there's an extra ending.
But the first game also didn't look terrible. It still doesn't look terrible.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't look terrible. The only thing with the PS4 one, it performs pretty bad. The frames are pretty bad. But at the end of the day,
it doesn't break the game.
It doesn't break the game. And it's this weird argument to come by across. It's a cinematic game. It's a story-based thing, and really, you don't see films in 60 frames per second. So 24. 24. So really,
that's my thought.
It makes sense.
That's what I don't really care.
Doesn't
about
really
it.
matter.
I don't really care. I don't know. And I was thinking myself, maybe if it drops in price, I might get it. But now I've heard it's not even worth doing that. I'm like,
I think if you've got what they should do is if you've got the
just
old
upgrade.
version,
Like you could upgrade it if
Like
you
a
put it in
price
your
thing,
PS5 or something.
like Death Stranding PS4 for the
Yeah.
director's cut, I think was like £5. You put the disc in and then it gives you the £5. But if you don't have it, you just pay full price.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough. And director's cut added loads of stuff into Death Stranding.
Yeah.
So I was like, Until Dawn just added an extra ending. Mint.
I could just Google.
Yeah.
I could just,
Especially in a game like that where it's not gameplay based.
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
it's
Yeah.
cinematic based, isn't it?
And to cap off the bullshit bit, Joker 2 was also horrifying. And then,
We had a massive argument over it in the car, didn't we?
it wasn't even an argument.
You got quite heated, let's be honest.
I got heated for the fact of like I don't think it's because I don't even like the film, but I don't think it's shit. I don't even think it's like one of these things where you should like. And I called it as well. I remember we left the cinema and I went, people are going to say that's the worst film of all time, and they're wrong because it isn't.
No, I see they're wrong, but for me,
It's not even the worst film of this year, man. It's not
so
even
far,
that.
It's the worst film that I've seen this year.
Maybe the worst film you've seen. It's not even the worst film this year.
It's the worst I've seen this year.
I've seen a good few.
And I was
worse
really
films.
hoping for it to be good. And I was just like, I remember saying to you, I don't know how long it was before, okay, when the first trailer came out, I went, this is going to either be absolutely mint or it's going to be absolutely shit.
Yeah.
And
we were, and,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, it was one way or the other. It's
I
not
will,
good.
I'm not going into it because
No.
I'll get annoyed, but like I genuinely found it was just awful, like just horrendous.
It's not good. I think it just should be forgotten because it is just really forgettable. And
It's that Halloween Ends thing where it's like it never happened. We just
Yeah.
had Joker, and that was it.
Halloween Ends stuck more in my head than Joker 2. I will
Halloween
say
Ends
so.
a better film than Joker Folio do.
It's not.
It genuinely
no,
is.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
Are we going to get Michael the musical?
You know what?
But Michael just doesn't say anything. It's like it's just background music. It's like points to him. There's nothing. Subtitles.
We'll get into the news section for this. So for this bit of the podcast, I think it would be fun just to like I've culminated a few news stories that I've released this month, and we could just recap them and just talk about them and just see. The Fangoria Chainsaw Awards happened this month.
Oh yeah, can't wait.
Which is no, it already happened. It already happened. Which is Fangoria's awards ceremony thing for all things horror. I think the cutoff. It's not for. I think there's a bit of an overlap of 2023 and 2024 films. I think it's like.
Well, if it was just when was it actually held? When did the nomination?
October 13th. That's when the ceremony was.
So I'm guessing it would it go all the way to the end of the summer?
I would think so. I would
Yeah.
assume
Because I know award shows are weird, aren't they?
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
So that's why you're not. There's certain films like wasn't that last year? Yeah, it was, but it also fell into that.
Yeah.
Also, I think the Chainsaw Awards don't happen every time. So it's a weird. It's when they can feel like it. Really,
every leap, yeah.
it's whenever they feel like it, I guess. I'll skim through them, and if we have an opinion on anything,
Not fancying it this year, lads. Put the chainsaw down.
put it away, put it in the safe. We've got Best Supporting Performance that went to Alyssa Sutherland for Evil Dead Rise. She was the demon mother.
What a film.
That was good.
Good time.
And she was good in that, I would say so.
I love Evil Dead.
Other nominations included Dave Bautista in Knock at the Cabin, Joe Bird.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I don't think you'll like it. It's not.
Because I'm not, you know my feelings.
You're
my
shaky
feelings.
on M. Night.
I'm not shaking him. Trap's my favourite thing he's done for a while. Like, genuinely, come on, that was a good time.
Joe Bird in Talk to Me, Nicolas Cage in Renfield, still need to see it. Mia Goth in Infinity Pool, Catherine Newton in Abigail, Bridget Lundy Payne in I Saw the TV Glow.
You need to get on Abigail.
Dwayne, I did see Abigail.
Did you?
I went to the cinema to see Abigail.
Oh, right. I thought you. I really enjoyed it.
Abigail's good.
I watched it on Prime. It was mint.
Dwayne Perkins for The Blackening, Dan Stevens for Abigail. There you go. That's another.
Yeah.
He was. What was it? Cindy, those are fucking onions. So I got garlic. Those are fucking onions. Sammy, those are fucking onions.
The whole chase scene when she's like doing ballet on the staircase.
Amazing,
Isn't
amazing.
it?
Best first feature went to Skinamarink. Still haven't seen it. I've heard nothing but good things about it.
That sounds made up.
You know what a
It sounds
Skinamarink?
made up. Skinamarink.
Look at it. Yeah, it's there. Look, Skinamarink. It's kind of found footage, but kind of not.
Skinamarink.
Yeah. Best non-fiction series or miniseries went to The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs.
Mint.
I was waiting to see your reaction to the name of that.
Good.
I thought you were going to
good
be
for
like,
them.
I thought you were going to go, you made that one up. I thought you were gonna...
Against Skidmarink. I think Skidmarink softened the blow of that one.
Best documentary feature went to The Legacy of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That sounds interesting.
I didn't even know about it.
Neither did I. That's what I'm saying. It's
Ooh,
like,
that'd be
I
a good
feel like
watch.
that'd be a good one.
That'll be good.
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Best creature effects went to Evil Dead Rise.
But yeah, no question. Like,
Other nominations for that were Five Nights at Freddy's, Infested, The Last Voyage of the Demeter, and Megan. And Thregan.
oh god, yeah. Universal and Halloween Horror Nights seems to absolutely love Megan. I see it everywhere.
It got very popular.
I know it did, but
It's
like,
enjoyable.
it's been how long? Did it go
Came out
on?
like in January 2023. I
I was going to say it's been a bit.
they're getting their money's worth out of that fucking toy, man. We got a sequel coming out next year.
Yeah, I know.
M. Tugan.
It's just Elon Musk's Android.
Best makeup effects also went to Evil Dead Rise.
Yeah. Evil Dead Rise. Like, do you know what I rewatched today? Was that clip of that dude getting really arsey at the Evil Dead?
Oh
Rise
yeah.
Goes,
And Bruce
"This
Campbell.
fucking sucks.
Bruce Campbell's get the fuck
I
out
thought
of
it was genuinely staged for a
Yeah.
second, and then I was like, "Oh my god!" And then Bruce Campbell like just took, fuck off.
I think the director was like, "Why did he stay through the credits? Why did he?" Stay?
Yeah.
Best costume design went to Poor Things, which
Yeah.
I got very surprised with. I get. Yeah, you can shove that within the genre. I guess
The sex film.
the sex film.
The sex
yeah, yeah.
film.
There is a lot of sex in it.
The sex film that she has not seen. We are not watching that. It's porn, isn't it? It's porn. It's like, it's
Yes,
not porn.
yes, they gave an Oscar to porn.
All I'm saying is the plumber was really good in that film.
Best video game went to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
The game that's been unsupported anymore.
Yeah, apparently so.
Yeah.
It beat Alan Wake 2, Dead Space Remake, Killer
Are you
Clowns from Outer
kidding?
Space, and Resi 4 Remake.
I followed it a bit when it first came out. I was like, oh, it's quite fun and stuff like that. But then I don't know the full story, so I don't want to like disparage a developer or anything. But legitimately, I saw a thing went, oh, yeah, we're not supporting it anymore.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
And
Yeah.
I was like, are you serious? A live like service game like
Yeah.
that? Like that's no.
Best cinematography went to Poor Things, which yeah.
Yeah.
It looked gorgeous. Best score was Godzilla -1. Have you seen it yet?
No, but didn't it get re-released in cinemas or something?
I think so.
I
Yeah.
read something about it. I need to see it. I'm just overly I'm not a big Godzilla sort of fan, but
Yeah,
I heard
neither am
you
I.
raving about
Yeah,
it. So
and I'm not a big Godzilla fan, and I loved the Godzilla
Godzilla
-1.
is a little tie at the Oscars.
He did, yes. Oh, that was brilliant when they won Best Visual.
tie, did you originally?
When they won Best Visual Effects, and they just walked off with the with the little
They're all
Godzilla.
here.
Yeah! I was like, this has made the Oscars right now.
Director comes out dressed as Mothra.
Brilliant. Well, the director was one of the visual effects supervisors,
Yeah.
so that's why you
It's
know.
basically a visual effects team, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. Best TV series went The Last of Us.
Oh, gosh, you need to get on that.
Yeah, I do.
Big fan of the game, and I thought it was going to be crap. Deadly wrong. Like, it was amazing.
Other nominations for that were Chucky, The Fall of the House of Usher, Interview with the Vampire, and Yellow Jackets.
Fall of the House of Usher was meant.
I need to finish it.
Did you not finish it?
Didn't finish it yet.
Did you get to
I got the club scene.
club scene? Yeah.
Which is
Amazing. Oh, it's classic.
I think slight spoilers. I think I got to Kate Siegel's death as well,
yeah.
which I think was that like in a hospital
I think
with like
so.
monkeys.
I think so,
Yeah, I think that was the last thing I remember seeing.
Class.
I was into it, but
I just heard it was. I didn't know what it was. I think you might have mentioned it.
I think I
And
mentioned
I
it.
just thought, I'll give it a watch.
I think I was like, Mike Flanagan's back, motherfuckers, with another show.
His best is still
Haunted Hill House.
on Hill House,
Yeah.
which I saw when it first came out. You hadn't seen it, did you?
I didn't see it until
And
later
I told
on.
you would love it.
Yeah.
Like, it mint.
Might be my favorite horror thing ever. I need to rewatch
It's my
it. then.
favourite ghost-based thing.
Oh, definitely.
It's the
Oh,
best. It's the
definitely.
best I've ever seen ghosts be done in modern.
Best screenplay went to Late Night with the Devil for Colin and Calvin
I
Cairns.
need to watch that.
It's fun.
I rewatched it. I think you were around when I like watched the trailer for it again.
Yeah.
And I was
think
like, I
so.
need to watch that.
Other screenplay nominations were The First Omen, Infinity Pool, Megan, and Talk to Me. I think out of that list, I would have went with Talk to Me.
I never got round to seeing Talk to Me. We saw the
Talk to Me was
trailer
good.
when
you
we
would like Talk to Me.
and I said it looks good,
Yeah.
and it came up on Prime or something the other day, and I was going, I need to watch that.
Yeah, you'd like it. Best international movie went to When Evil Lurks. I need to watch it.
I've heard of that. I
For
don't know
nothing
why
but good
not.
things. Best limited release movie went to I Saw the TV Glow. We got it, but it was very limited. It was one of those ones where it's like I would have needed a drive to Tyneside to watch it.
Yeah. Wait, yeah.
It's got Justice Smith in it. Look at him.
Oh yeah, our favorite
Oh.
Pokemon trainer.
Yeah. Oh, the Quarry.
Hey, we're getting Detective Pikachu too, apparently.
Good for you.
Yeah. I'll come back when that's nominated at the Horror Chainsaw Awards.
Best streaming premiere went to VHS 85. I need to catch up with these bastard films, man.
Yeah, I've watched track with them.
Do you know what it is? I'm up. I need to watch 3.
Yeah.
Viral. I've heard that's dire. So I'm slightly like, I need to be like, oh, just get through it. Just get through it.
It was ages ago we talked about this, but I just have a thing with found footage sort of films where I'm like, I feel like it was a fad that's kind of went away a little bit now. Personally, I don't know. I can't get into them.
Can't wait to see what he says when I make one.
Oh, it's brilliant, Oscar! Fantastic.
Found footage it's just the revolutionary genre of the time.
I'm releasing it on VHS.
Best kill went to In a Violent Nature, the yoga kill, which I did show you actually earlier on before we recorded.
Yeah. I'll give it that.
As you can see, Terrifier 3 was not eligible for this because...
Too valid.
Best lead performance went to David DeSmallchin for Late Night with the Devil. I'm happy for that boy.
I heard it was like anytime he's in something,
he's class.
He's never actually been bad in a role.
No.
Like he's mint.
Other nominations were Tobin Bell for Saw X, and right there I'm like, why didn't he win? We got Caitlin Deva for No One Will Save You. You told me about that one. I need to watch it.
If I remember right, there's no dialogue on the
Yeah, I know that much.
I don't want to give too much away, but like the concept's really, really cool.
Yeah.
And the story's really, really cool. The design is really cool. My only thing is, I wish they went a little bit further with it. Like, what was cool, they hold back a little bit sometimes to try and be a bit more, we're different.
Yeah.
But then that was actually its strength.
Nell Tiger 3 for The First Omen was also nominated. Really good, really good. Had no right to be as good as it is, The First Omen, is what I will say. Catherine Newton for Lisa Frankenstein, still need to see it.
I heard it was good.
Yeah, I did as well.
Yeah.
Lupita Nyong'o for A Quiet Place Day 1, no. Emma Stone for Poor Things. I mean...
Yeah, she won an Oscar for it.
She didn't need a Chainsaw Award.
No.
Lily Sullivan for Evil Dead Rise. Sydney Sweeney for Immaculate. Sophie Wilde for Talk to Me. Best Director, Wendell Lee Cronin for Evil Dead Rise. It was a
well-deserved.
Well-directed film. Other nominations were Brandon Cronenberg for Infinity Pool. When are you going to get to that?
Never heard of it.
You never... Yeah, you have.
I don't think I have.
Infinity Pool. Mia Goth.
The only
Alexander
Infinity Pool I
Skarsgård.
know is like the one that you put in your garden.
Danny and Michael Philippou for Talk to Me. Demian Rugner for When Evil Lurks. And Arkashar Stevenson for The First Omen. There you go. And best wide release movie went to Godzilla -1. Big fucking kaiju, man. Big lizard. Other nominations were Abigail.
Hearing about it, literally everyone was going mad. Godzilla's brilliant cinema. You got to see it.
That is what happened.
It just took me by left field. Like what?
When all of a sudden
Godzilla's been nominated.
Yeah, it was. It won an Oscar. It won an Oscar.
Didn't it come out the same year as the other Godzilla film, where versus Kong wasn't it?
No, it was coming out. It came out a few months prior to Godzilla vs Kong.
Yeah.
No, Godzilla Kong
upended
New
its own
Empire,
film.
whatever. Yeah. What the fuck was? Oh, that was it.
Empire.
What was it that I said? That's what I think. That's what it's called.
New World Order. It's got Hulk Hogan in it.
Hogan drops a leg on
Yeah.
King Kong. There was a wrestler called King Kong Bundy. That Hogan body slammed in a cage. They were both in a cage. King Kong Bundy was in a cage. And Hogan,
When's Vince McMahon going to be named the best horror villain of the year?
You'd have to be good for that to be a thing. But yeah, that was the Fangoria Chainsaw Awards. It's always
Pretty
fun.
solid.
Yeah,
It's pretty like Evil Dead sweep, really.
It weirdly enough,
Yeah.
interesting. I'm not sure.
I like kind of got represented elsewhere.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's more of a drama sort of comedy, isn't it?
It is. Yeah,
I mean, it's funny as hell.
it is really funny. Other news I've got. Apparently, Robert Englund has said that he won't play Freddy Krueger anymore. He said he feels too old to be it. To quote, "I can't play him anymore. I'm too old. There's no Freddy left in me."
You gotta love him, haven't you?
He does note, however, he could possibly voice a really higher end animated version. So he'd be down for that if that was the case.
Be interesting. Imagine like an animated version of Nightmare on Elm Street. That'd be interesting.
Is it worth doing a Nightmare without Robert Englund as Freddy specifically?
They already have, haven't
No, but come on.
they?
No, but come on. Is it worth? What I'm saying, is it worth it? Because I rewatched the first one again yesterday.
The concept's really cool.
And controversial opinion, I think it's just okay. And weirdly enough, I don't fuck with Freddy Krueger. I'm not fussed on him.
He's not my favorite, but I love the Nightmare. I know not all of them, but like I love the.
I think the first one shines
respective
more
ones.
because of the final girl of Nancy. Like I'm more invested in her, and then when Freddy's about, I'm like, I don't give a shit about this guy.
Yeah, I just think the concept of what it is can be taken in really cool places, and I think we're yet to see it be took somewhere really cool. Because obviously there was the remake.
I've yet to see New Nightmare.
New Nightmare, I think, was good if I remember right.
Yeah, it was Wes Craven's
Wes Craven.
return to the franchise.
I think I remember it being really
I've heard
good.
it's good. Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen them.
Yeah.
You've seen them more recently, haven't you?
Yeah, I've only seen the first 3. But yeah. Oh no, I what I was saying to you, it's like I'm surprised in the age that we are in. I am shocked that there hasn't even been talks about requeling the shit out of this.
I know. It had that one remake, didn't it?
In 2010.
Yeah.
But that's it. Like,
And that was
like
it.
but even though there hasn't been a new Friday the 13th movie, there's always been talks about it. Like we're getting the new Camp Crystal Lake show.
Oh, I thought you were about yeah.
And
Which is that? What's going on with
it's
that?
still happening. It's in development.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah,
I think that's a really cool idea.
But there's always been talks about a new Friday the 13th thing. Like remember when
is
they
that
were going?
because Jason makes money? Is that what it is?
Yeah, but Freddy makes money as well.
Because I can't remember these things. Like does Nightmare? I don't know who makes more money than the other.
I don't know. I think they both make equally amount of like the same.
I imagine so. But
know.
I don't know. I think what it is.
Did people? Because my thing is like, did people get put off because Wes Craven died? It was like, but they kept going with Scream.
I wonder if it's like a factor of like well, with Jason and then you've got Michael Myers. Obviously, allegedly there are always a bit more to Michael Myers, such as the stupid cult crap. But like in Friday the 13th, like they're just killers. Whereas with Freddy Krueger, it's more otherworldly and strange, like fantasy almost. It's like I guess maybe that's not as marketable in some ways. I'm not quite sure. Some people just prefer straight up slasher. I don't know. I don't quite know really. It'll be cool to see someone do a modern interpretation.
It's just more so I'm shocked that there hasn't been talks about it.
Yeah, like
it
might be one of those things. It's just never got as far as a table discussion.
Like even like New Line haven't even like just even. They've been busy with The Conjuring though, so I think maybe they've been more focused on like, well, we've got this.
New Line are pretty good to, like. I mean, no, like film studios like safe from this, but like New Line's pretty good at not being one of those where they're just pumping them out like mad. Though.
No, I agree, but
like,
but New Line is Warner Brothers. Like
Yeah.
Warner Brothers owns New Line.
Oh
so
yeah,
they've got
yeah.
their own.
But New Line kind of do their thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they know what they're doing now. They don't look too back.
Yeah.
Too far back too much.
But anyway, we at least know if there is going to be a live action Nightmare, Robert Englund isn't going to be Freddy anymore.
Watch it get announced tomorrow.
I think he did. Yeah, what horrifically dates this. I think he did say he wouldn't, if he is going to, he wouldn't mind being in the film, but as a different character, like a doctor or something.
That'd be cool.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, like because he is important and integral.
I think I understood because I think he was also like, I can't do the stunts anymore, man. It's like that's fair, man.
To be fair,
That's
right?
fair, man.
Freddy gets flung about
Yeah,
like
exactly.
a ragdoll like all the time.
Speaking of Wes Craven stuff, Scream 7 has an official release date. It is scheduled in for February 27th, 2026. The film is going to be directed by Kevin Williamson, who was the writer of the originals. This will be the first time he's directed it.
Unique.
The film is written by the screenplay is by Guy Busick, based on a story by Busick and James Vanderbilt, who I believe they're the same creative team behind the last two ones.
Yeah.
So they just kept with that. And
It's largely the same team, isn't it?
yeah, Courtney Cox is expected to return, but has not yet signed on.
Because it was after all the drama, wasn't it?
And according Nev Campbell, the upcoming seventh installment will return to the franchise's roots in the sense of Sidney Prescott will be the central character. Quote, they did pitch me the concept to me, and it's the reason that I jumped on board. I love these movies. They are so much fun to be a part of. I'm so grateful for them. I could never imagine being a part of a movie that would have lasted this many decades. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it because after the whole drama,
It was such a shit show,
what
man.
even happened again? I can't remember. I just know people.
Melissa-
Someone gets sacked.
Melissa Barrera made comments about Palestine, and then the studio was like, cut her. And then
Right.
and then Jenna Ortega left.
Yeah, she walked out. Didn't Courtney Cox step down as well?
I don't think she did.
I thought she did.
I don't think there was
I
any.
feel like there was another person who stepped out.
Jenna Ortega left apparently due to Wednesday scheduling conflicts, but it came very soon after Melissa Barrera got sacked, so it just seemed very coincidental. And the director, is it Christopher Landon, who did Happy Death Day and Freaky, who was the original director, eventually then like, I'm leaving this.
Yeah, not touching this.
I think he tried. I think he tweeted about it, being like, "This is just, I'm good, mate. As much as you guys, I'm good about this."
It sounds like they're bringing it back on track, but I'm just a bit. When something so swift changes that quickly and it's like correct course, I'm immediately like, okay, let's just set expectations a bit.
But I like the fact of like, we've got Sadie Prescott back.
Yeah,
it still makes sense. You can be fine to just leave Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega's character just gone. Like they don't. You could just be like, oh, they just stayed in New York.
Yeah,
and we can just go back to Woodsboro. I was going to say Haddonfield, but that's Halloween.
Because you've spent a bit of time away from there, so you're like going, okay,
so
what's happened there?
It still makes sense canonically, so it's like, all right.
Well,
sure.
We just take the original Beetlejuice route and say Scream goes to Hawaii.
Ghostface
Hawaii's got like rose petals and crap around his neck.
You know what? Why not? I'm looking forward to it, man. The Creep tapes are coming out this November, I believe. Have you seen Creep?
I don't think I have.
The Mark Duplass found footage horror?
No, I heard about it, but I'm not saying it.
These are basically an extension. They're basically Creep 3.
Right.
They're sequel. It's a sequel to the series, but it's in the form of a TV show. And it's found footage still, and it's more Creep fun. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, good time that. My WhatsApp had a fit. Oh, here we go. Alien Isolation 2 is officially in development.
Was it not long after Romulus came out? Or Alan Ian Go to Rome?
What, that they announced this?
I'm sure it was.
No, it was 7th of October. It was this month.
I feel like it happened significantly with Alien.
I don't know.
But I'm hyped for that. But it's weird to think, because I thought half the team who worked in it at Creative Assembly weren't there anymore. So I'm like, who's making this game? But then someone said it is the original team. I'm like, how does that work? Like, how did you just like force them back from wherever they were working? Like, I don't get that.
Yeah.
But I mean, the groundwork's there. They'll surely it's Creative Assembly own the source.
It is
code.
Creative Assembly,
so they'll have the source code for the AI for the alien and stuff like that. So there'll be a basis. So see what happens.
Yeah. Is it? I think we said you're a fan of Isolation, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a welcome inclusion, is it?
It just needs to not be as long as the first one, because the first one was brilliant, but it just overstayed its welcome a bit because it's super intense with the intelligence of the alien and that sort of thing, but overstayed a bit too much where you get a bit exhausted by that.
Okay. And I haven't played it, and I don't think I'll get it. I'm not into spaceship, man. It's just not my thing.
Not a fan of Alan Ian, are you?
I like when they went to Rome. I really like when they cloned Ian. This is gonna make so little sense to everyone. I hated when they resurrected Christ. Hated it.
When we went to see Alien Romulus, at some point we just said Alan Ian, and then with Romulus, Rome. So like we would go to Rome, and they just became a thing.
Then there's
Alan Ian.
Then there's the prequel, Alan Ian Go to Prom.
Alan Ian Go Prom. And then there's Peter. Alan Ian versus Peter.
Yeah, Alan Ian versus Peter. Watch Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah.
Let's move on. We're going to end up getting too much into this.
And I think we were giggling like right before this supposed like absolutely horrific film.
It's good. Romulus is good.
Oh, it's class. It's
Romulus
class. We're really not. It's going to be horrific. And those two are giggling like prats in the back. Are like, Alan Ian.
It's like being outside my house in your car and we were just dicking about and just going like, Alan Ian. And we came with the whole timeline.
Yeah, I don't even think we even talked about the film.
I don't think we did.
Alan Ian.
This one's quite big. To me, at least. I don't know what you think about this. Luca Guadagnino is going to be directing a new American Psycho film. For people who don't know Luca Guadagnino is the director of Call Me By Your Name. He did the 2018 remake of Suspiria. He did Bones and all. And most recently, he directed Challengers, the sexy tennis film.
The sex film.
The other sex film. The screenplay is being written by Scott Z. Burns. He was the writer of Contagion, Side Effects, Born Ultimatum.
Contagion. Cool.
And the film is being described as a new adaptation of the Bret Easton Ellis novel and not a remake of the 2000 film, is what they are emphasizing with that.
So it's a new interpretation.
It's more. It's going to be trying to be more just adapting the novel as opposed to redoing the film.
Is this going to be a Return to Silent Hill thing? Say we're going to make a new approach, but we're doing Silent Hill too.
I don't know, man. I'm slightly conflicted by this in many ways.
I don't think that needs to be. It's a good team.
That's the only thing that's making me go.
I'm like,
but it's good.
They be done.
Here's my thing with it though as well. Luca Guadagnino directed the Suspiria remake. Did Suspiria need to be remade?
No, but the remake was really, really good.
The remake I think is better than the original,
Yeah,
and it's
I would agree.
completely different. So if he does something completely different to the original, but still make it like because as much as it's not going to be a remake of the film, people are going to look at it as a remake of the film.
Yeah,
they're going to have to.
It's going to happen.
Patrick Bateman's going to have to be completely different than Christian Bale.
Yeah,
like in so many vibes. We can't have Hey Paul.
Jared Leto gets cast randomly again for
get
no
killed
reason. Yeah,
I tried reading the novel, and I don't know if it's just because I was an illiterate bastard, and I just didn't like books at the time, or if it just was. But I have heard about this, but it was just very difficult to get into.
I've not read it, but
I got like 3 pages in. I was like, I don't know what is happening. I don't know what I'm reading.
It was like when I read It. I can remember I really enjoyed the It book, but it's 1,000 pages. And then when I was reading it was like, oh, it's a heavy read. And it was tough to get through, but it was really good. But I've heard pretty much the same thing. With like, I've not read it though.
Yeah. No release date's been said. Obviously, I think the script's literally it's announced and it's done. So nothing else has been announced about the film.
I don't think it needs to happen. Just leave it.
I'm not interested.
Yeah.
I'm not interested about it, just to see. Again, to be fair, it's because of the team behind it. But
can the remake Joker 2 but make it good?
I'd rather just leave it. I we don't need it.
Just forget it never happened. Never happened.
Don't need it.
I don't remember it didn't happen.
Yeah, exactly. Right, but speaking of Stephen King, busy boy Mike Flanagan is going to be making a Carrie TV series. An 8-episode TV show for Amazon.
Could be cool.
He's exec producing it, so I feel like it's a similar thing because I think it's the same thing like what he did with The Fall of House of Usher, where he didn't direct every episode.
Yeah.
He's probably gonna.
I prefer that though.
He'll be showrunning it. He might do the first one.
I prefer it when you've got a showrunner who knows the tone in the show and that sort of thing, but you've got directors giving a bit of their own flavour. Again,
to be fair, Horn of Hill House was all him. Midnight Mass was all him, I think. But then Bly Manor, House of Usher, he gave. But to be fair, the man's also in the midst of making a new Exorcist film, so maybe give him a break.
I know. Maybe he's mint. Like
I love Flanagan so much, man. I love him so much.
I feel like he's getting a bit of like, oh right, well just take all the old stuff and bring it back to life because it'll make money.
But I think he's the best. I think he's the best person who adapts Stephen King.
Oh yeah, I would agree.
Dr. Sleep.
Dr. Sleep's class.
Gerald's Game.
I was watching a review of Dr. Sleep because they're doing this YouTube channel. Doing a Stephen King kind of like run through, and I was watching a review, and every single one of them were like getting the same perspective. It was like, why didn't this film do better? It's so good. Underrated.
I mean, when we watched it, I was like, that was class, and they were just bombing,
didn't we?
Yeah.
And then there was a bit with like the file cabinet, like.
I rewatched it again, like I think like a year or two ago, and I messaged you after I rewatched it. Like that was the first time I watched it since the cinema. Just messaged you, being like, "Yo, this film fucks!" Like this, like it's like how did no one look? It might be my favorite Flanagan film.
Like I tell people when I remember when I was working at when I was working at my old job, and at the college I was at, and someone I used to work with who was a massive like film buff, like he was well into The Shining. We were talking about it. And I told him, I said, it's a sequel to The Shining. And he was like, he was like that, like a sequel to The Shining.
Yeah, but yeah.
And I said, and it does it well.
Yeah.
And he was like, really? You seen it? He loved it.
Yeah.
But like that,
it's great, man.
That alone it's a sequel to The Shining.
And everyone's happy
really
with it.
Good.
Yeah.
Like, that's a testament.
But have you watched Carrie?
Yeah, I watched the original years ago. I think my dad might have showed me it when I was
I love the original. I watched it for the first time last year, and I love it.
It was a remake, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I can't remember it.
Chloe Grace Moretz.
Yeah, I can't remember. I can't remember, but I don't even think I've seen it. But like, I'm sure my dad showed me Carrie, and then he also, I think this is why. Bear with me, but like, yeah, it's why I always end up mixing up Carrie and what's the one with the car?
Cujo. No,
Cujo, that's a dog, isn't
it? Christine. Christine's the one with the car. Yes.
So because my dad showed me that as well. So every time someone goes Carrie, I have to go.
The car or the
It's
girl?
not the car, is it?
I love it. For mine, was that Stephen King's first book as well? I think Carrie was his first novel.
Might be.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
I'm not a big Stephen. I'm not a Stephen King expert, but also I don't know how long the book is. I don't think it's a massive book, which is
Carrie?
which is interesting.
I've read Carrie.
Yeah,
it's a brilliant book, but it's not long. It's his longest book.
Yeah. The Stand, that's also fat as well, isn't it? Yeah. But I'm interested. If anything, Mike Flanagan doing another Stephen King thing on a property that I like.
Yeah.
I'll be interested. It'd be interesting to see how it gets spread over 8 episodes.
I'm starting to dig the kind of the horror series a little bit more lately as well. I think a film's great for like slashes and stuff like that, you know, like your fun Halloween events sort of thing. But when you want your disturbing horrors which you're breaking out in this long, like I always got Haunting Hill House. Look at that.
It's just
that's
perfect.
how you
It's
do
just
it.
perfect.
That's how you do it. It just works so well.
Yeah. Looking forward to it whenever that comes out. We were talking about it a bit, but just to recap on it, Silent Hill 2, the remake, it sold really well. Sold really, really well.
Was it 1 million in 3 days or something?
It sold 1 million in...
first 3 days, I think.
Yeah, it did.
That's mental.
It's crazy.
Like, for a Silent Hill game.
Sold more than 1 million copies within 3 days of its release.
Well, you know the direction of Silent Hill became what it was. Silent Hill 3, sorry, became what it was because Silent Hill wasn't selling very well.
Yeah.
Silent Hill 2 wasn't selling very well. Infamously, don't sell very well Silent Hill games.
So this is
huge,
massive,
like huge,
because they've always been fan
Resident Evil money, basically.
They've always been fan favorites and they've always been critical favorites. But Konami never always looked at the sales. Now it sells well, and now they can be like, oh, all right then, we'll keep going with it.
That's why they wanted to go to Western Development, see if they could give it a bit of a, I don't know, Resident Evil feel. But I've seen people compare it to the Resident Evil.
Remember Homecoming? Remember Homecoming? Where you had a
Downpour's worse. Downpour's Downpour's awful.
No,
all the enemies are the same.
No, Downpour's okay.
No,
it's not good, but it's
I don't
okay.
like Homecoming, but like
Homecoming's
Downpour's
worse.
worse.
Homecoming's dreadful.
Homecoming's where it's like the boy, isn't it? It's like
Homecoming is
his
your
brother or something, or is his son?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
And then Downpour, you're the guy in prison, and then the twist.
Yeah.
Oh, I got in here to kill the fat guy who killed me son or something like that. I can't remember something like that. Honestly.
Terrifier 3 done really well. The budget was $2 million. It has currently grossed worldwide $45.9 million.
That won the Clan Wars.
It genuinely toppled.
I'm really happy about it.
Oh, it's so good, man.
Because of what it is, and like the team behind it absolutely adore it, and it's making its money, and it was made a limited budget, and it's absolutely been.
And it still looks. It looks good as well.
It
doesn't look cheap. Somehow they've done it.
I remember seeing the first original short film. What was the short film called?
Terrifier.
No, Terrifier is the feature film.
No, Terrifier was a short film as well.
Was it?
There's are you thinking of the anthology film called All Hallows Eve that featured the short film?
That might be that. Then.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it was a different actor who played Art in that short film, wasn't it? No, the original one.
No, it wasn't.
Look it up.
It was David Rob. It might be. I don't know, man.
Oh.
In
the short
you
film
might.
else.
I think you're thinking of the film that I think it was like Damien Leone's student film or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Who played Art was a different actor.
Yeah. The very original. Yeah. Not the because he did another short film with Art called Terrifier.
All I'm saying is I've been loving the promotional thing where the guy who
David
plays,
Howard Thornton.
he's just wandering about causing trouble, like just being upset, just
being a
in
menace.
character, like
He's going around horror cons just being.
Did I send you the other day on Instagram where that guy was dressed as Art and pretending to be a thing in like a what are those Halloween shops called in America?
Spirit Halloween.
Spirit Halloween.
Yes,
I've
seen it, yeah.
And then that one guy walks past the side, stick his finger in
Yeah.
his mouth, and he goes,
Yeah.
it's like an Art looking a bit like obviously not the Art, just like
Yeah.
what'd you do that for?
Yeah. That would be. There is definitely going to be a Terrifier 4.
Yeah.
In 2023, Damien Leone spoke about plans for the potential Terrifier 4, and in September of 2024, Leone confirmed that Terrifier 4 was in development, which means, and I'm not going to spoil it, but if you watch the end of Terrifier 3, it's set it up.
Yeah.
It's set up. And I am so excited for what the fuck can happen in this film.
The thing is, as well, didn't I forgot her name who's in the film, the actress. She just got
Lauren LaVera?
She just got cast in something, didn't she?
That's
something big.
Oh, funny you mentioned that,
Yeah.
Lewis.
Hey.
Lauren LaVera, Terrifier 3's Lauren LaVera is going to be starring in Darren Lynn Bousman's new film, The Monster. Darren Lynn Bousman, for people who don't know,
I'm over the moon for a film.
is the director of Saw 2, 3, 4, and Spiral. So he's got a new film coming out called The Monster, and Lauren LaVera is going to be in it.
Well deserved.
Well happy about
well
that.
deserved.
I mean, it's also bound to happen because she's the lead of this horror franchise. That is the hottest fucking thing right now. It was bound to happen, and she's also really good.
I just love art. He's just great. I just love in Terrifier 2. He's just a pest.
Have you seen? Yeah, he is. He is a nuisance. There is one point in Terrifier 3 where there's just a scene of him being a nuisance. He's not doing anything murderous. It's like, mate, just fuck off.
Like, I genuinely think everyone goes about gory bits. I think the bits when he's just not actually like hurting anyone, he's just being annoying.
Yeah.
Like, it's when he's in the shop and he's just trying all that shit. And then when the guy he blows like the little birthday thing,
Yeah.
and then he goes, if you put that in your mouth, you gotta take it. And he goes, oh yeah, just flings it. Like, all right then.
And he goes, I want to pay for the whore. And he goes,
Yeah.
that's this much money. So then he starts like just taking out all of his stuff in his bag.
I was like,
It's
he's
great.
just being annoying. Like, he's not murderous.
And then
he
he causes the most just violent kills ever.
I don't know. I think 2's obviously I haven't seen 3, but 2's
2's got the most gruesome stuff in, I will say.
most gruesome. But I just think 2's just a better film.
It is. I will also say that as well. 2
Got
is the best. Yeah.
plot all the way through.
3 does as well. But yeah.
1 just felt like it just felt like it wasn't going to get anywhere. It was just, let's just throw this out and make it as violent as possible at the time. Whereas 2, no, we actually have to have a story now.
They make a law. They make law.
Because 1 doesn't really have a story. It's just like, clown. He's a bit murderous.
Yeah.
Run away.
Yeah, it is literally that.
That's
yeah.
all it is. And then 2's like, okay.
We've actually got
Art's easy.
also the main character. They actually introduce a main character.
Art's resurrection after shooting himself in the head. Does
That-
he shoot himself in front of the cops or something?
He does,
Yeah. It's like, I bet you about 10 years' time, saying the political message of Art when he shot himself with the cops is actually someone makes it political.
And in 2, he gets decapitated.
Yes, he
Sienna
does, yeah.
decapitates him.
It's a nasty decapitation.
It's a
as well.
bad. It's
Like,
a
I didn't realize he's getting decapitated. It was like a slow sort of like, like one of those. Like, I thought it was just going to be like a chop.
No.
Like that. But like, where it was going, but I was like, no, he's great. And Art just kind of looks like he's just irritating him.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like,
And then the after credit scene of 2.
yes.
It's got one of my boys in it, which I was shocked by. You watch, and we don't even mention it in the video of Terrifier. Me and Luke are watching the opening credits, and Luke has seen the film before. And I'm looking.
Yeah, I'd seen it before you, and I
Yeah.
clarified some of it, didn't I?
No, but like the opening credits is on it, and it's listing all the actors, and then it goes, and Chris Jericho. I go, what the fuck? And then Luke went, I don't recall him in this. And then the credits hit, and I went, where the fuck was Chris Jericho? And then he's in the after credits scene.
Yeah, it's like yeah.
And
I told you a little bit. I just said, it's a bit more of a pest, but like
And
some
all
of
I-
the things I knew, I was like, I can't.
And all I say is as well, in Terrifier 3, Chris Jericho is also back.
Mint.
Ah! That's Eddie, and he has.
I have mixed feelings with Chris Jericho.
As a wrestling fan, so do I. so that was all. So that was all the news that I cared to look at and care to talk about. That's all I wanted to
Can't
look at.
even look at.
Get it the fuck away from me. So we now come to the topic, the big question for the. Excuse me, I didn't want to burp at the microphone there. Or should I do that? Make a sound bite.
Up to you.
Sell it.
Sell it.
Sell the burp.
ASMR burping.
God, Jesus. Look at that. Hang on. Let's see how long we continue to go for. Not that long. The main topic of question, I thought it would be a fun one for the very first Intermission Kills podcast, is let's talk about what's your favourite scary movie? What's your favourite scary movie? I know it's a big question as well. To be fair, it's like you know when like the celebrities on like the red carpet go like when Letterboxd
what's
is
your
there.
top 5 Letterboxd?
What's-
Panic.
What's your top 4 films? And everyone's going, I can't do. I don't know. I guess.
I would just lie.
I guess 2001: A Space Odyssey. I fucking every time I see 2001: A Space Odyssey, I'm like, do you actually think that? Is that actually your favorite
I would
film?
I would make the most ludicrous films.
Buying the Dinosaur.
Yeah,
goes.
Buying Dinosaur. Pokemon the first movie. Digimon the movie. We can't remember the Batman the original
and,
movie.
and Beyblade the movie.
Beyblade.
I don't think they did a movie. Beyblade the movie.
Beyblade. It's a thing. Yeah.
But yeah, Lewis, what comes to your mind when you think of favorite scary movie? If you got the phone call and Mr. Ghosty Facey was like, "What's your favorite scary movie?"
So, what I'll start with, I'll say that it was my second choice. I was stuck between these two. I'll tell you what the one that won afterwards,
Okay.
but the one that didn't quite make through was Evil Dead 2.
Oh, Evil Dead 2's great.
Absolutely one of my favorite
Evil
films, my favorite Sam Raimi film,
Yeah, same.
and absolutely love it. Evil Dead 2 was amazing. Can't say enough about it. Love it, especially. Is it Daya? Who is it who gets who has her head chopped off and then she runs in with a chainsaw, headless?
Yeah,
and then he flips it over.
Yeah, yeah.
like that. And then he ends up in the Middle Ages.
Yes.
Like at the end, and then I thought about it a bit more and I went, okay, it's argued Evil Dead 2 is a remake of 1.
Is Evil Dead 2 maybe the best example? Is it the best horror sequel?
Yeah.
I don't think it's the best because there are horror films where the
People
sequel.
say it's a remake as well.
It kind of is a bit of a rebooty type of
People
thing.
can't decide.
But it is a sequel.
Well, Bruce Campbell said there is a point in Evil Dead 1 and 2 where you can see where actually the plot lines link.
yeah,
I can't remember what it is.
Yeah.
Somewhere he's running the forest and that, but
But Evil Dead 2, man, it's also perfect craft of filmmaking.
it's amazing.
Like I watched that film like a few months ago. Just when those first 2 films are good. I think all of them
Evil
are
Dead
good
1's
ones.
class.
But yeah, I love watching Evil Dead 1 and then going to Evil Dead 2.
2's right.
And I remember just watching Evil Dead 2 and being like, man, it's almost perfect filmmaking.
I genuinely don't think there's a bad point in Evil Dead 2.
there's zero faults in Evil Dead 2.
And the thing is as well, it does that thing. It's a bit similar to Friday the 13th, where the iconography of Evil Dead is all in the second film.
Oh yeah, no, it is
All in the second
groovy.
film. Groovy. And then it's the
Is
the
he-
chainsaw arm.
Yeah,
And then it's the
is that Hail to the King Bay or is that Army of Darkness?
Army of Darkness.
Army of Darkness. That sounds about right.
But
yeah. What was the other one? That's like swallow this. That's Evil Dead 2.
that's definitely Evil Dead.
That's it. When
I
he
can't think where it is, but yeah, I know what you mean.
swallow this.
And then,
because it's the demon like I'll swallow your soul. I'll
Yeah.
swallow it.
Yeah.
Swallow this.
And then there's the infamous scene with the laughing face and stuff when the
Yeah.
deer turns.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
Oh,
then
it's
I saw,
brilliant.
like people like, you know what? The demons are starting to get along with them. They're having the laughter. So like, and it's just obviously it's got a bit more budget behind it because the first one was cult following. wasn't it?
cheap,
Yeah,
very cheap.
very cheap. But
They
it
were
works.
they were also like even Sam Raimi. They're all early 20s. They were
Yeah.
all their early 20s making that fucking thing.
It's Sam Raimi's best film, but I had it second because Evil Dead, for me, when I'm thinking of best horror film, what can I shot on at Halloween? It has the Halloween vibes, it has the horror vibes.
Oh, you're going
it's
with that,
very
are you?
traditional and stuff like that. Something like that vibe. Because Evil Dead 2, I just think as a film is just mint. As a film, bar the horror thing, it's just a mint film front to back.
Yeah,
So, and this goes through, I've got a bit of a context behind it as well. My favourite horror film, spooky horror film to throw on, From Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh, that's a good one.
From Dusk Till Dawn.
that is
And I
a
explain this, right? Because I love the film. I watched it. Let's just forget. We know the twist, vampires.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
would get it. But at the time, I remember my dad showed, again, another
Yeah.
film my dad showed me that I should have watched. And then, my dad loved it. And he was like, oh, yeah, chainsaw, that sort of thing. And then the flip, the acting's in it is mint, the gore, the drama of it. I don't particularly find vampires that interesting usually, but like with this, it's incredible. It's like really well paced. Robert Rodriguez all over. The silliness of it.
the Tarantino script.
Yeah,
The
Tarantino's
script.
script. Like everyone in it's mint. The action's fantastic. The makeup, everything.
I don't think I've seen George Clooney better.
It's my favorite George Clooney film. It's like, and I'm not the biggest George Clooney.
No, I
fan,
mean I
but
like Clooney, but he's
it's so awesome. And the thing is, it's no holds barred. So it's like when you're watching it first, obviously you know when you've watched it, but first time watching it, no one's safe. Like no one's safe, and that's what's amazing with it. Like two people come out alive,
Yeah.
and it's not the people you would expect to come out alive.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
it's
yeah.
like really not, and it's just gruesome. The twist's amazing, and my favorite time I ever watched this, and why it's always stuck in my mind, is my favorite one. Like I remember we watched it years ago with Gary the first.
Yeah.
time.
It was. I think that might have been.
Actually, quite a while ago. Was that Halloween though? I remember we watched it around here.
Was it like 2019 time?
I think so, because Gary hadn't seen
It was 2019. I remember
But he
this.
didn't know the twist, did he?
He didn't, but I remember it was 2019 because I was starting first year of uni. I remember, and I was also watching, and I was also doing my Tarantino essay. So I remember watching it also semi for that reason as well.
So
But also, it is just a really good watch. It's just a really good watch, yeah.
Well, one of my favourite times I ever watched it, and I've never forgot this. Like, again, my dad always comes up with these sort of things. I went to Vegas with my family when I was 17. This was in 2012. And this was in October. So I was in Las Vegas, and I was staying at the New York hotel. And because I was 17, I was often getting thrown out of a lot of bars and stuff like that. It wouldn't let me go anywhere near.
Yeah.
And there was a night, and this was when Walking Dead Season 3 was being broadcast. So I was watching Walking Dead Season 3 as it being broadcast live on AMC.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was watching a lot of horror. It was the week of Halloween, I believe. And then, so we were in the hotel, and we're trying to find somewhere to eat, and there was it's like this Irish sort of like bar with bands and stuff on. I thought again, said I couldn't go in. And then, so my dad went, I said, I'll just go up to the room. And I was like, and my dad was like, no, I won't leave you on your own. And so he said, you know what we should do? We should like get some hot drinks or something like that, and whatever, get some food. And we'll see, because it's Halloween, there's all these horror films on. We'll just put a horror film on. And then we're going in, and we got like out with the suit set of beds, we're just putting the telly from Dust Till Dawn was on. I'm like, oh, class. And then our window, we could just see the Vegas Strip in the background.
Okay.
And like in the night, in the bars and that going and stuff, and then from Dust Till Dawn and a dark night in the dark.
Because you had the bar in From Dust Till Dawn.
That's the Vegas-y sort of
yeah, it
vibe
does,
and stuff.
yeah.
And I remember it's always stuck with me. We watched it, the whole thing, and we are like, oh, I love that film. Like, I mean, it's such a good time.
Yeah.
And now I've always think that setting of watching it in that scenario in the middle of Vegas at night.
Yeah.
In the dark, and then it's amazing. But for me, it just has everything it needs to have from Dust Till Dawn. I could throw it on. I feel like I could throw it on any time when I feel like it's a time when I want to get the spooky mood. Whereas Evil Dead 2 is more of a film I can just throw on whenever.
Okay. Yeah. Interest. Yeah. I can see that. Yeah. No, From Dust Till Dawn's great, man. It's like you got like I love me some Tarantino, and I love me some Rodriguez, and I think it's almost the perfect meld of both of those things, really.
It's front to back. I think you take anything out of that film, it will wreck it.
No, yeah. It's like, because literally the first half is like, okay, this is a solid Tarantino crime thing.
Yeah.
And then it gets like the second
it
half.
sets it up amazing.
And then it gets to the second half of the film and goes, this is a solid Rodriguez, batshit insane creature feature. This is, man. It's great. I mean, I'm a big fan of the Grindhouse, of the film, the Grindhouse double feature, and I think From Dusk to Dawn kind of is like a nice companion to that as well. Like, you can watch that and then go into like Planet Terror, Death Proof. I think that's like a good time.
There's something, honestly, I never thought you would see something as cool as a priest with like a stake.
Yes, Harvey Keitel.
And going across like this to back them away. Shotgun, cross.
Yeah.
Like that. That is one of the coolest. That is like up there with Ash in Evil Dead 2.
Yeah.
It's looks amazing.
Tom Savini is he Sex Machine in that? Is that his thing?
Yeah.
With the dick gun.
When he gets when he gets secretly bitten as well. I was rewatching a few scenes earlier just to kind of remember, because I hadn't watched it in about a year or two. And then when he obviously got bit at some point, I can't remember the time, but then he's like, everyone's talking about someone's got you bit, and he's like, his teeth are sharp and stuff like that. And then what's his name? Who plays the Vietnam guy? I can't remember his name. The soldier. I can't remember his name.
In what?
In Dust Till Dawn. Like, it was after the vampires revealed himself, and then as he's talking about his flashback about the war or something.
No, it's not Danny Trejo.
No, it's not Danny Trejo.
Are you on about the priest?
No, not the priest. I can't remember his name. He's like a sergeant or something like that, if I remember right. It's been a while. But then he's like talking about it, and then his arms just like vampire arms just go creep up behind him and just grab him. I'm like, amazing. Like, no one's safe. Like, and then the poor the young lad gets devoured.
Oh,
he
wasn't great.
I did laugh though.
Cheech Marin was in it.
Yeah.
Fred Williamson.
Yes.
Frost. Yeah.
And he had amazing makeup. Isn't it Greg Nicotero who done the makeup in that film? Or am I remembering that wrong?
Oh, I would have thought it was.
Was it
I
Feeney?
would have thought it was Savini.
Savini. I
but
think Savini definitely did.
Hang on.
But I feel like Greg Nicotero might have been involved.
When would it be? Special effects.
He might not have been, but I feel like he had some involvement.
Although that does sound right though.
Yeah.
I don't
Savini
know.
did do the
Makeup department.
main bit, but like I feel like Nicotero had something to do with it.
Ted Heno, Gary Jones, Robert Kerr. Yeah, Greg Nicotero was a supervisor.
Yeah, I knew he was on it in
supervisor.
some way, and it just has that all over.
Oh yeah.
But like Savini's he just creepy crawls like behind him and fights him, and then like the death, and then the most egregious death is like when like that guy, obviously the son, gets like
Oh
devoured.
God.
But then when his sister like going shoot, kill me and stuff like that, then he shoots, he just explodes.
He does.
Like he just explodes. And I was like looking at the scene on like YouTube the other day, and I was like reading, and people were like trying to explain, maybe he was part turning vampire.
No.
And so I was like, no,
Blew up.
No, he blew up. Just one bullet.
Imagine trying to like break down a Rodriguez film with logic.
Well, they were trying to say the logic was because like they obviously blessed the bullets and like they made the holy water and
Yes,
stuff like that.
yeah.
The blessing and that. Because he was being bit, he was already vampire, but he was infected by this point. So when he shoots it, because some of them did explode,
Yeah.
and that, and like no, I think they just did it because it'd be mental.
Yeah, it'd be class. It'd be cool.
From Dusk Till Dawn, just class, gory, mental.
I need to rewatch that, man. I don't think I've seen it since when we watched it. If I'm being honest, I need to rewatch it.
So good.
I was trying to get Rob because Robbie made a comment about it, and he went, "Oh no, I've never seen it." I went, "You've never seen From Dusk Till Dawn?" I went, "Nah."
Does he know anything about it?
His perception of it, he goes, "Yeah, it's really weird that Tarantino wrote a film to get somehow to put a foot in his mouth." I went, "All right, you're taking a very specific like role," and he went like, "Nah, it's just a bit weird though, isn't it?" I went, "Mate, because Evil Dead 2 is his favorite horror. Like he loves Evil Dead 2," and I'm like, "Mate, you would fucking love From Dusk Till Dawn." And I went, "It's a Tarantino crime film for the first half, and it's a batshit vampire film for the second half."
The thing is, doesn't he like other Tarantino films?
He's also slightly anti-Tarantino.
Yeah,
So maybe I don't.
He's done a lot.
But
of
it's Robert
stuff in
Rodriguez.
other films, so
But it's
like,
also Robert Rodriguez, though. Robert Rodriguez. Kill Bill Volume 1, he loves. So I'm like, oh, you fucking...
yeah.
I don't know.
You should give it a try, Robbie. Give it a try.
I do think it's
I
like...
have a lot of issues with your initially, like, there's some things I can forgive, like your sense of humor, just your general personality, but that, just watch it, do yourself a favor, get some taste. We know you don't have that, so try harder. I mean it.
From Dusk Till Dawn. It's really good. No, I agree. My favorite scary movie. I was watching... What was I watching? I was watching it was a Dead Meat podcast thing where James was talking to... Who was he talking to? He was talking to Alexa Bliss, wrestler Alexa Bliss. Yeah. And he does a series where he gets people to talk about their favorite scary movies or whatever. And she said that like it's like with it, she feels like we're talking about favorite horror film. If you always have, as a horror fan, you always have two favorites. It's either a modern one and an older one. Yeah. And I'm like, I can get that. Yeah. I can understand that.
It's a different type of horror, isn't it?
Yeah. For her, she said like Hereditary and Midsommar are her new favorites, where The Shining is her favorite, like older one is what she said in terms of her situation. Like, okay, yeah, I can get that. For me, personally, so that's why I always battle, like, is that my favorite? I think that's my favorite. I think that's my favorite. One of my favorite older one, I'll get to in another time, actually, in another video. But my favorite, so I'll talk about my new favorite, like my newer favorite horror. If I'm talking about my favorite horror film, my favorite scary movie, which is the newer one, The Lighthouse. It's which it was one of these instances where I was trying, where I was like, listen, again, I do have a favorite older one. I'll get to it in another video by the end of this year, is what I will say. But in terms of talking about my favorite horror film. I think it got to the point where I just like said to myself, Oscar, stop being a pussy and just say it's your favorite horror film. Because for me, The Lighthouse clearly is my favorite horror film.
It's not like we can see it in some of your films that you've made. Is this from The Lighthouse, Oscar? No.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
I've never seen it.
Apart from, I mean, I've said it out loud as well in public. Very just unapologetic.
It's a totally unfair choice.
I've unapologetically have said, if it wasn't for I watched The Lighthouse and I went, I want to do that kind of a film, and then I did Love Bethany. Love Bethany kind of became a lot more other things as well. It had a bit of other different things. Hereditary, Psycho, I would say. Silence, yeah, definitely, yeah. But The Lighthouse was the reason why it sparked the idea in my head. And apart from just taking up the fact of like I selfishly stole from it, Robert Eggers might be. I mean, I think Robert Eggers
is class.
It's Robert Eggers and Ari Aster are my two favorite filmmakers working today.
Same for years. Ari Aster is the one person who
should do a sign. Yeah, we've said
give it to him.
I mean, I've said to you, I'm like, why can't Ari Aster write and direct a Silent Hill film and Robert Pattinson star in it? That would be fucking great.
Robert Pattinson, and we mentioned Chris Evans for a while, didn't we?
Chris Evans would be cool. I've said if they did want to do a straight up, I mean they did, but I think Dan Stevens should have been James Sunderland in the
he's a perfect cast for James
Sunderland. Yeah, but if we're talking about Rob Pattinson, we're talking about him in. I think from like, you got Robert Eggers. I love The Witch. The Witch is great.
The Witch is class.
I like The Northman a lot. I'm really looking forward to Nosferatu.
The only thing I'll say, The Witch and The Lighthouse needs to change up his endings a little bit. It's the same ending.
Did Northman end? Northman.
I don't know about Northman.
No, I don't think Northman quite ended that way.
Like
when it's just it's a close up of a Carrie kind of but I think I remember watching The Lighthouse for the first time. It was one of the last films I saw before. It was one of the last films I saw in the cinema before the pandemic hit.
I remember, yeah.
And in hindsight, what a banger of a double bill day this was. I went to see. It was The Lighthouse, and then later that day was Parasite.
Oh yeah, Parasite.
It was a packed Tyneside cinema for Parasite. It wasn't as packed for The Lighthouse, but it was.
Suspiria around that? When was Suspiria?
2018. So a bit.
I remember you telling me about Suspiria.
Suspiria was class as well, but like Lighthouse, it was one of those. It's a film I think like I don't know, like it's just one of those ones where you can't deny the atmosphere.
Oh yeah.
I think
it's incredible.
it's just dripping in it,
and it's as well hilarious at the same time.
That was also my other point. It's a really bleak, dreary film, but also there's fart jokes. Willem Dafoe does fart jokes in this film.
My favourite scene in that film is just seeing Willem Dafoe chase him with an axe.
Oh, there is he does a little skip. He gaslights him a little bit. He goes, "How long have we been here? 2 days? 1 year? You tell me." You tell me, Winslow. And then you just see Robert Pattinson just like, what the fuck is going on?
And the tentacle bit as well.
Tentacle bit's great.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Like, there's so much. I think as well, like from a performance-based point of view, I don't think I'll be very surprised if you could find many duo performances, like 2 performances in one film that could be like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That like not just one. But 2, because you could look, because as much as like Willem Dafoe's fucking sensational in it, might be the best Robert Pattinson's been.
I would say so, yeah.
Good Time's great. He's really good in Good Time.
Good Time, he's got more to play with to give him more range. And I think The Lighthouse is just more vague, like
he's got more
him to do.
Yeah,
it's like you can play around with more.
Yeah, there's that. Again, I think you think about like the two, like you talk about like it's funny but also quite intense. Is that one scene? It's the what? It's like, that's what I mean. And then he then just says like, you're cooking shit. And then and then Willem Dafoe gets really hard about it. Goes, you're lying. You're fond of me lobster, ain't you? And he just like goes, and then Willem Dafoe stands up. There's lightning strike behind him. He's giving this really intense monologue, and it's really impactful and like just like you're just very like transfixed on like, wow. He's giving like this really impassioned monologue, and then it just cuts back to Robert Pattinson, just kind of sat in the corner. And he goes, "Fine, have it your way. I'll eat your cooking." I think he said, "Fine, have it your way. I like your cooking." And then there's the other argument where Robert Pattinson kicks off, and then he just loses. He goes, "Like your goddamn farts, you stupid farts." It just goes. You're just watching two men lose their fucking mind, and it's a film where I think, for me, it's so perfect in the sense of like, it gets just enough wanky and then stops.
I don't even think it gets to. Like, I think it just kind of.
But it's
lets you
just
up
on
to
the
you.
cusp of it, because again,
It gets dangerously close.
But then it just kind of pulls back and goes,
Yeah.
"Nah, we're actually just doing like."
Do you know what? The best description I saw of it was like people just summing films up, and it was a Wes Anderson horror. I'm like,
Yeah.
I get it.
I heard one instance that was really interesting where it was like someone said that Portrait of a Lady on Fire is what happens when two women are on an island stranded together. The Lighthouse is what happens when two men are on an island stranded. I was like, yeah.
We don't make things any better.
We get violent, we get slightly homoerotic, but then get offended by it, and then we just get wankered for no reason. But also, again, the visual style is great. I love it. They built an actual fucking lighthouse. That's just cool. The lighting is just, fucking A, man. It's just good. Do you know what's unsettling? Seeing footage from this film, like behind the scenes footage, and seeing its colour.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Before. It just doesn't look right.
It's like, I don't like this. The seagull smashing, iconic.
Yeah, you relate to that a bit now.
I did. You know what? I went on the brink of really just smacking up a seagull at one point.
Oscar was dealing with a hostile takeover from seagulls for a couple of months.
I nearly had one fly in my house. I'm not even joking. I tried to take the bins out, and then
The amount of I can remember in the summer, I was coming around. I had to park far away because the amount of bird shit. It was like it was the aftermath of a war.
Yeah.
Like, what's happened here? I was expecting Oscar to come out like shred go. Have you got any rations?
I had to play hawk sounds so I could leave my house. That's not even a joke. That's what happened. But yeah, Lighthouse. I would say it's probably my favorite.
I'll give you that.
Favorite horror. I do have a favorite older horror, but as I said, I'll get to that at some other point. But yeah, unconventional favorite scary movies. I would say there, like in the sense like you don't hear that regularly. Like you hear people drop Halloween, you hear people drop The Exorcist. Even recently, you hear people drop Hereditary as like in terms.
I was half expecting Hereditary.
For me,
Yeah.
it's up there, but I also prefer Midsommar. In terms of Ari Aster's films, Midsommar's my favorite.
Yeah, I would agree. I love Hereditary, but I think Midsommar just has a cooler plot.
I clicked more with Midsommar first. Like it took me time to really get into Hereditary. Midsommar watched first time, I was like, that's amazing.
There's something so funny about just seeing a man get in a bear, just get set on fire. Something so strange. Like he just sat there. They made him look like Hulk.
Just
like they didn't have to do that.
no, they didn't. Has he got? Yeah, he's doing a neo-western Ari Aster, which I'm intrigued in.
He just does his thing, doesn't he, Ari Aster?
And I appreciate it so much. And I'm going to say it now. Give it some years. Beau's Afraid. You're all going to love it.
Yeah, we had a discussion that with Joker. I think so. It's weird to think our Beau's Afraid, Napoleon, Joker, Beau's Afraid was the best film.
And it is. And it's
and it's the one that's probably good, the most well received.
It did it do worse? I don't know if it did worse than Joker 2 actually. Box office wise. Yeah, it might have done. Either way, neither of them did great.
Joker is being helmed as one of the worst box office.
I know. Beau's Afraid didn't do well.
I feel like Beau's Afraid would have done well enough against its budget.
It even didn't do well. It was expensive. It was an expensive film.
I'm curious.
Let's fact check this. Right, so
Joker 2 is I think it's like 192 million. I think.
Joker Foliado.
Yeah.
I can't wait till
shit.
I can't. Folia poo.
Folia poo, more like.
Joker Foliado. Its budget was 190 million, and it so far has made worldwide 192.5 million.
Oh God.
It's not made a profit because
isn't it between 190 to 200? Like they don't know how much.
Yeah, the budget. Yeah. But it's not made its money back.
It's been out nearly. It's getting put on digital, isn't it? In about a week time.
Yeah.
Which is like, that's announcing
death,
isn't it? Really.
But I was afraid. The budget for it was 35 million, and it made 11.5 million.
Ooh, that's not fair. That's not fair.
Is that Megalopolis numbers?
Was it don't let the past ruin the present? I can't remember.
The only thing I remember from that film, Lewis, is no, go back to the club.
I was so glad you went to watch it. Now just tell me what it's like.
Megalopolis made more money than Beau's Afraid.
That's a shame.
12.5 million was Megalopolis. Megalopolis was more expensive though.
Beau's
120
Afraid.
million.
It's just
Beau's Afraid is
I
class.
wanted more from it, but I like from when I watched it, I did burst out laughing when he looked up the bath and the guy just drops at him.
The way I've pitched
Why?
it, the way I've pitched to people, I've said it, and Robbie's never going to watch it. I've said to Robbie, I went like, right,
I love for Robbie's reaction.
yeah, no, you know what? He'd be like, what the
Love to
fuck
see
is going?
Just explain what's going on, please.
I think the first, because it's a 3-hour film, the first hour is just silly and stupid and funny.
Oh yeah.
The second hour is actually genuinely like,
It's like horrific, isn't it? And then
No,
free when it's like it gets quite sad.
yes, I think that's the way. I was like, the second hour is when it's like, God, this is actually fucked up now. And then the third hour, it's like, it's actually quite depressing. It's actually really like,
There's not. The thing is, right? It did come up when I was watching the trailer. I was like, oh, this is going to be up its own ass. And then I was like, it does. The trailer gives that vibe. It's not really that much going on with it. It's just very much told in a. The idea is it's not supposed to be very coherent.
and surprise, Joaquin Phoenix is great in it. What a shock.
I love how it's just like we've seen these films that Joaquin Phoenix has been in. So obviously Joker, he skinnies himself out a bit like on edge and that sort of thing. And then when he's half a fleck, and then with Napoleon, like it's a bit more grand and all this sort of thing. Napoleon's not very good done, but obviously it's just American accent Napoleon, and then and just an outrageous amount of like just stamina from from Joaquin in the sex. It was just too many. I just kept hearing that's just every 2 minutes, and then but when Joaquin was in Was Afraid, it's literally just him. Like, and it's so weird to see him just as his hat.
Yeah.
Because he's like, and
He's bald in him.
he just plays it really well, and he's like, you could tell he was well into it.
Oh, yeah.
He was well into it. And I think Joaquin as well, I think from what people have been saying lately about him, he's notoriously quite difficult on set if he's not into it.
Yeah.
And
He's also in the new Ari Aster film as well. So he
doesn't jump
so
from
far
that one.
he evidently liked working with him at least.
Well, he nearly, do you know the story when it was, whose film did he just drop out of recently?
Todd Haynes'. It was, yeah.
And then it came out and he was supposed to be in Split, wasn't he?
Yeah. I knew that, yeah.
Out 2 weeks before.
Yeah.
And then apparently he nearly dropped out of Joker the week before.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh wait, Joaquin, stop it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. Like, don't get cold feet. You could, if there's any film you could have got cold feet on, it was Joker Foley a Poo.
Foley a Poo?
Foley a Poo.
And on that note, we'll wrap it up now. But that was the first ever episode of the Intermission Kills podcast. We filled it enough time, fair enough, without Curtis.
Yeah, bless him.
Like we looked there, like as if like we buried him. we
Apparently, he's so intimidated by me, he couldn't turn up. I'm ill.
But if you and Luca and Connor couldn't respond to the bat signal because they're working.
Well, how selfish.
I know. Connor in Nando's.
He's only. It's not far away.
And Swainson in Mecca.
Should we just like take the mic and the camera and just like put it in his face? He's taking out like a butterfly chicken. Like, what's your favorite horror film?
We're going to Nando's. Connor. God, that'd be so jarring.
Being funny.
And I also feel like we should do
that. What
that.
do you think of the accusations? Just put him on the spot.
But if you do want to see Curtis, the next video that will be uploaded onto the channel will be on Halloween Day itself, and Curtis and I will be talking about John Carpenter's Halloween, so that'll be the next video up on the channel.
I'll eventually meet him.
Yeah.
Eventually.
We'll see. See what happens.
I'm just scared he's going to, like... I don't know
Wet
how
himself.
intimidating at all. I get, like... I've been told I have, like, quite deaf, starey eyes every now and then.
Maybe it's because you're such an influence to him.
That's it. Yeah, he's a stage fright, innit?
He's nervous. It's not that he's scared of you. It's like, oh my God, they say to never meet your heroes, and I'm about to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I deal with Robbie in the expected way, and he's appreciating that someone's actually doing the Lord's work.
Should we call him? Should we see what happens?
Robbie?
Yeah.
Go on then.
I'll see if he answers. Where's he at? We can ask him what his favourite scary movie is.
Yeah, and I'm going to do a little thing in the end as well.
Have
you locked up in ITV?
Hello. Hello, Robbie. We're recording the first ever Intermission Kills podcast, and we just want to know what's your favorite scary movie.
Probably Evil Dead 2.
Yeah, good shout.
Maybe Scream. I like Scream also.
Ooh, another good shout. When are you going to watch From Dusk Till Dawn?
When am I gonna watch it?
Yeah, it's mint. I heard you've got an issue of watching it.
What? Who said that?
Oscar.
Oh, because Quentin Tarantino wrote in that bit where he sucks that lady's toes. Yeah, well, fucking creep, man. I hate that guy.
So when are you gonna watch it?
Watch it.
I don't know. I think I've seen it.
What do you mean? You just so the film you're against watching because of the foot thing you have watched, so you're going against your own morals here.
Probably, yeah. It's like a lot of things in my life, you know.
You're a walking contradiction, Robbie. What's going on?
I don't know. I'm a hypocrite. What do you want from me?
What I interrupt you doing? What did I?
I'm playing Jedi Fallen Order currently.
I didn't realize it was 2019.
Yeah, well, fuck you. It was in the sex shop.
The sex shop. You mean CEX?
Yeah.
How dare you say such a thing about such like an amazing place? Like, I've never smelled sweat like that before. That is a magic. That is.
Yeah, it's the fucking sex shop, man. I made myself a spag bol.
Oh, lovely.
Mum and Dad are on holiday, so.
Oh, you got the house to yourself, have you?
I get party at Robbie's then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
17 wanks today.
Why does that sound like a ritual, like out of Sign 04, the 21 sacraments? I'm gonna have 4 more.
Yeah, so we'll be immediately driving down to you now, Robbie, for the.
I used to live in Hull. I know where I'm going.
Yeah, there you go. So the mad Tweedale party will do that.
Yeah, come on down. See you in.
Come on.
Do you fancy sign off the podcast, Robbie?
It's like a big fat one. It's been real.
Thank you for watching and listening.